WZCO, where we are 20 minutes and 49 seconds away from second round playoff here in East Columbus at Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina. We are in the swamp awaiting East Columbus Gators versus the South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls in the second round of the state playoffs here in North Carolina. Franklin, are you in there with us?
I am right here with you guys.
So there tonight will be Kelly Jones, myself, and Franklin Davis, and we will be bringing you the game live as it happens. We will have Aaron Yates upstairs on a camera. The footage for that will be delayed and played this evening. And switching off with him inside the booth and out is sophomore Daniel McNair. So we are expecting a great game here tonight. And Franklin, do you have anything you can add for us right now?
Yeah, I'd like to say that for two teams that have never met each other on the football field, there's almost a sense of rivalry here, as 2 years ago South Stanley was defeated by East Columbus for the state 1A baseball championship. So there are several people that are connected with the school that are familiar with each other, even though the teams have never met on the football field. In fact, four of the players for South Stanley played on that team, so I imagine they're looking for a little bit of revenge tonight.
I would say you're right. That was very happy time for the Gators and not so happy for South Stanley, but they did make it up last year winning against Voyager Academy.
And I know that the Gator football team saw the celebration that took place and everything with that state baseball title, and I think that helped get them hungry for one themselves. So we'll just have to see if they can remain focused and play good solid football tonight against the South Stanley squad, which I imagine is going to be one of their toughest tests of the year.
Yeah, I'm really expecting a game as tight as the Red Springs game when it's all said and done. I wouldn't be shocked if it comes down to who has possession of the ball last, and I look for it to be a fight all the way to the end. What is East Columbus's key to winning tonight?
I think the key for East Columbus to win tonight is play mistake-free, or as much as possible mistake-free football. Stay away from turnovers. Stay away from the untimely penalties, the penalties that you get from lack of focus. You're going to get some penalties just because of aggressiveness, and coaches can live with those. But if they'll not turn the football over, if they'll play the same aggressive defense that they've been playing all year long, they've scored quite a few touchdowns from the defensive side of the ball. So if they can continue to do that, I think that they can handle this South Stanley squad.
And piggybacking on what you said, one of the things that I've noticed in the last few weeks watching the Gators play is offsides can be a big issue for them at times, and that hard count last week was costly in a couple of different places.
Yeah, and that goes on. I think some coaches can pick that up, and even in film study when you see that when a team does that several times. So I imagine the South Stanley coaching staff has seen the North Stokes film and will probably try that, especially in some situations where you've got third and less than 5 to go, or even some fourth down situations where they don't really plan on going for it, but just trying to pull the Gators offside. So that's something that the defense must be aware of, and you got to control that aggression on defense. You can't let it be used against you.
So looking back to especially last week, looking through some article there by Dan Beiser in the News Reporter, 6 touches by Nick McClure. 4 of the 6 ends up in touchdowns, and he runs 126 yards. Does South Stanley have that kind of defense that they can stop Nick McClure the way he's been running?
Well, I think really that some of the teams that Nick has faced recently, after they got a little taste of him on their first or second carry, decided that was all they wanted and almost said "Olay" as he went by later on in the ball game. South Stanley's defensive strength is with their linebackers. Anthony Smith, senior, 250 pounds. He also plays fullback. Is one of their linebackers. And then, of course, you've got Jordan Starnes, 6'3", 225 pounds. He's a Shrine Bowl selection, and those aren't given out just for looking pretty. So I imagine that Nick's going to find it going a little bit tougher tonight against this group of linebackers that South Stanley's going to throw at him.
Yeah, they've and just watching those guys warm up on the field, those guys they're definitely big and they are quick. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out.
You know, it really kind of is interesting that there's only very few players on the South Stanley roster over 200 pounds, and two of their largest players do play linebackers. So it'll be interesting to see how the front of the defense holds up, and if East Columbus offensive line can get on the defensive line and kind of push them back some, then those linebackers have to pick their way around them before they can make any hits on the back. So if you can dominate the front, then you can kind of control that linebacker play.
And, we have seen if you do not tackle Nick McClure at the line of scrimmage or before, if you let him get over that line of scrimmage, he's a beast to bring down.
Oh, yeah, and I was serious when I said that I think I've seen some defensive players this year, after trying to tackle him the first or second time, really their effort was half-hearted after that, because you run into those big thighs when he's got a head of steam going up, and it's about like getting bulldozed.
We've started a little bit early tonight, so let me pick your brain here. South Columbus versus South Granville. What do you think of that matchup?
I think it's going to be a very close ball game, and I think South is going to win, which is a real easy prediction to make. But you got to give South Columbus an edge playing at home. They're really tough at Vinegar Hill, the home of South Columbus High School. South Granville, from the posters on the NC Preps, everyone says that they actually think that they're the team to beat in that particular region. But South Columbus has seemed to really have been focused ever since East Bladen gave them a pretty good butt kicking about, 3-4 weeks ago?
Right.
And since then, they've regained their focus and played probably their best football of the season. And, of course, you've got Pharaoh McKeever at quarterback, and he is a difference maker all by himself. So I'd have to lean with South Columbus in that ball game.
Last week, y'all were up in East Bladen for the East Bladen-Whiteville game. This week, East Bladen takes on Eastern Randolph at home. What do you think about that one?
First of all, Coach Robbie Priest has done an outstanding job with the East Bladen Eagles replacing Lennon Fisher. East Bladen got off to a very poor start, and you had to wonder, man, is Robbie going to coach here one season, and that's going to be it. In fact, I think East Columbus shut out East Bladen 18-0 earlier this year, but they got it on the right track, and they have got a stable of running backs over there. It's almost like they just I don't know where they manufacture them somewhere over there in the eastern part of Bladen County, and I just don't see Eastern Randolph coming in and stopping that running attack. And Stan Sims, the quarterback, has his confidence has improved quite a bit, and their passing game has improved as the season has gone along. So you can't just load up on the line of scrimmage against them, because they can play fake and go deep too. So I think you're going to see an East Bladen South Columbus rematch in round 3 next week.
That would I know South Columbus, I would have to say, would love to get another shot there to make that game earlier go away, because that was, they were on a roll, and then they just went in there and just got manhandled by East Bladen. And but that may have been the wake-up call they needed to kick their playoff drive into gear.
I agree wholeheartedly, and if you look at the last several seasons between those two schools, they've met in the playoffs, I think, 2 of the last 3 seasons, because of the way the pod system sets up, and you meet someone like that earlier. And the team that's won the regular season game has lost the playoff game, so I know South Columbus wants one more opportunity to see if they can keep that streak alive.
Hey, Franklin, can you tell us a little bit about the pod system? I think a lot of people are curious about how that works. Can you just tell us a little bit about how that's set up in North Carolina?
Okay, the pod system is once the teams are selected, and you've got your 64 teams, and then you've got it's 32 and the low, we'll use the 1A division, for example. 64 1A teams make the playoffs. The 32 largest teams go into 1AA, the 32 smallest teams into 1A. And then what they do is they're seeded 1 through 16 in the western part of the state and eastern part of the state, and where the pods come in is they use the longitude of the school to determine whether you're east or west. Then once the east and the west is decided, then they use the longitude again to break it into west and Midwest. And what that does is that creates some inequity. You may have the first, second, third, fifth, sixth, eighth, ninth, and 10th seeds all in one pod, and the fifth seed may be the highest seed in the Midwest, but simply based on geography. And the reason they did that was to try to cut down on some travel. Now, you tell North Stokes last week that they got some travel cut down, but Kelly, if the system had been strictly one playing 16 and two playing 15 and three playing 14, you would have had, I think, South Robinson would have gone to Murphy, and someone else. There would have been two teams that would have traveled over 300 miles in the 1A for opening round play last week. So it has helped some with travel, but there is a lot of dissatisfaction with it throughout the state because people end up playing conference foes again a lot of times in the first round because of that. And the fans would like to see, different people come playoff time, unless you reach the third or the fourth round and then somebody from your own conference appears again.
Yeah, it would seem to me that in 3A and 4A it may not be quite as much of an issue. Is that correct in terms of like East Columbus being in the West, that sort of thing?
Yeah, the 1A is where the biggest imbalance is as far as the schools still having to do some travel. It's even been suggested that the 1A and 1AA keep the pod system and eliminate the pod system for 2A, 3A, and 4A.
Yeah, that would seem to make the most sense. Franklin, we really appreciate you joining us this week, and you brought us an interview with Coach Cassell from East Columbus, and we want to attempt to run that now and maybe talk a little bit right after the interview.
Okay.
One game at a time, and we try not to look at.
Speaking with East Columbus Gator head coach Toby Cassell before tonight's second-round playoff game between South Stanley and East Columbus. Coach, I know you like to treat tonight as just another ball game. How successful do you think you've been in getting the players to ignore the circumstances and focus on just football?
Well, that's been the mantra. Is the theme is to take one game at a time, and we try not to look ahead of ourselves. I know that's a cliche in the world of sports, but it's a true fact that we're going to take one game at a time. Keep focus on this Friday night because that's the only game that counts right now. You can't look ahead because there's one and done.
I think looking at the roster, there are approximately 18 seniors on your ball club. Does this give them maybe an extra sense of urgency that it's got to get done this year?
It does, and I placed that upon them early on in the season that, this is your season, and you should show some urgency about what you're doing, and also that urgency should spill over to the underclassmen to help you along the way. And so this is a group that have been together. Their JV season, my first year here, there was a special group, kept them together, didn't pull them up when I first got here. We had our growing spurts last year. And so this year is their time, and they understand the urgency of that, and keeping themselves on focus, for just the one Friday night game.
You played a tough schedule this season. You've had several close losses to some real good teams. Do you think the experience gained in those games, even though you haven't won a close one yet, will be beneficial if this one's close in the fourth quarter tonight?
I do. Not only from our player standpoint, but from the coaching standpoint, and from myself. So, the kids know that we play, and again, in my opinion, a lot of other people express the same opinion, that we have the toughest non-conference schedule in the state. And that has prepared our guys for these tough games. And like I said, the coaching staff as well. So it hasn't just been on the players, but it's been the whole involvement of staff and players that I feel are ready for a close game if it comes down to it.
Colder playing conditions tonight than during most of the regular season. Advantage or disadvantage for the Gators?
That's a tough one. I mean, the kids are going to dress accordingly. They sometimes overdress, being these young men in these warmer climates. But we stress to them that it's going to be colder as the weeks go on, the deeper we go into playoffs, and it's a normalcy that they have to not focus on the elements and all the other outside distractions, but stay focused on the game at hand and not let those elements come into play.
What can you tell us about tonight's opponent, South Stanley? Do they remind you of anyone you played during the regular season?
We sat around as a coaching staff, and you always kick that around who they remind us of that we've played. They're a little bit of the East Bladen type. They're going to line up, base block you, try to make holes. They got some good, quick running backs. They're going to have a 3-back set. They don't throw the ball a whole lot. When they do, it's pretty much a long ball down the field. So. They're comparable to, I want to say, an East Bladen team. They're going to have a good defense. They've got some linebackers over there that are pretty good, and they have some guys that can run the football as well.
This time of the year, everybody's banged up, usually in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I think this is the 13th consecutive week that y'all have lined up to play. Despite all that, it's everybody ready to go. Except for the few of the guys that we've had those injuries that happened 3 weeks ago that were knee injuries that have ended their season, so to speak. But everybody's healthy. Thank the Lord. Our running backs, our linebackers, the coaching staff's done a great job of substituting in people that play both sides of the ball. Like a Nick McClure and a Taryn Manning. They play both linebacker and running back, so the coaching staff have done a good job of substituting in those second string backs and linebackers to give them rest and to keep them healthy. And so right now we're healthy. We're healthy. Well, Coach, wish you all the best of luck tonight. Let's hopefully do this again next week.
That would be a pleasure to talk to you again next week, Franklin, and I appreciate the support you guys have given us. Thank you.
That's Coach Toby Cassell, head coach of the East Columbus Gators.
Franklin, thank you so much for that interview. What do you think the difference is this year with East Columbus's success? I mean, this has been the most successful football team here at East Columbus High School. What has been the difference?
I think the biggest thing is that they're seniors this year, and they've realized that this is their last opportunity to leave a legacy in football here at East Columbus. And a lot was expected from this group because a 10-0 JV season, a couple of years ago, and it got people's hopes up quite a bit. And I think the senior leadership on this team has realized that it was now or never, and they've pulled together and done what's needed to be done to have a successful season. I mean, let's look at it this way: they are probably less than 1 minute away from, instead of being 8-4, being 10-2, which exactly would really have turned some heads. But they're definitely a dangerous team, and if they have their heads on straight tonight and play football the way that they're capable, if they bring their A game, I think they'll walk out of here victorious tonight as well.
One of my thoughts here as we get ready to start the game, teams are coming on the field, the team speed on offense, and more than the team speed, the pace at which East Columbus runs their offensive series. If South Stanley has yet to face a team with no huddle, with spread offense, it could cause some adjustment problems, especially in the first half. So I'll be really interested to see how well prepared South Stanley is, because one thing is for sure, East Columbus can put some points up on the scoreboard in a hurry. They move up and down the field very quickly, scoring on big plays. And I think the first two series on offense for East Columbus will be key to see how South Stanley responds defensively. So it's going to be an exciting game. Hey, second round of the high school playoffs. And here we are with East Columbus, and excited for these young men on both sides of the football field, because this is something that they'll remember for all their lives. I know I played in 2 playoff games, and I've never forgotten them. So
first time ever that the Gators have hosted a second-round playoff game.
Yeah, we were history in the making last week, as the Gators saw their first season with 8 wins, and they took their first home ever playoff win, and now we're witnessing the first second-round playoff here at the Swamp in the 21-year history. So good to be a part of it and hope for great things here to come.
And getting ready for the opening kickoff, we've got Red Springs set to receive the football. And Franklin, we're going to have you jump in every once in a while when you get a free moment with your stat keeping. Rod and I are going to call the game, and we look forward to hearing from you, Franklin. And those of you at home or on the road, it's going to be a great football game.
I'm excited.
Looking forward to it, guys. And thanks for having me on tonight.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it. All right, so if you're just tuning in, it is roughly 7:30. East Columbus is lining the ball up. This is 89.9 FM, WZCO. I am Rod Likens. With me is Kelly Jones, Franklin Davis. We've got Aaron Yates on camera, Daniel McNair here, and there's the kick. It's a squib kick up the middle, and it's handled by number 18 at the 30, and he's up the middle to the 42-yard line where he will be brought down, and they will start off there.
Connor Ford on the return.
So 1st and 10, South Stanley will have the ball to begin the game. The Rowdy Rebel Bulls will start on their own 42-yard line. And East Columbus set on defense and will be ready to go. And we're looking for a fight all night long on this. And we are, like I said, we're definitely excited. But there is number 2, Russ Weicker, up under center. He's got a one-back set, 2 split left. And whistles blow. So we'll take a minute here to see what we've got. I didn't see any flags, did you?
No, we got looks like a legal substitution.
East Columbus had 12 men on the field.
Okay. So that brings up 1st and 5 now.
So once again, we're going to see Russ up under center with a one-back set. He's got 2 spread right, and that's going to be pitched in the backfield to number 1.
It's Devontae Hamilton.
And that'll be good for about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, several Gators in on that play, including Henry Baldwin on the tackle.
So that's going to bring up 2nd down and roughly 11 minutes and 35 seconds here still remaining in the first quarter. This is the first possession of the game. South Stanley received, and this is 2nd and 5 for them. So here comes Russ Weicker up under center.
We've got trips left, 3 wide receivers to the top.
One back set. Number 1 in motion, and that will be handed off to number 44, Anthony Smith, and he's gains maybe 1 or 2. So East Columbus is looking for a big third down here as we start off here with 11 minutes left here in this first quarter.
Right here at midfield, we have our first important play of this game. So let's see what East Columbus can do, and we know that South Stanley has some big running backs. They're probably going to try to run it right up the middle, and East Columbus stopped on the last play. Let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, that number 44 is a big gentleman right there.
We got trips left, 3 wide receivers.
Number 8's in motion, and they're going
Runs
to
the
drop back
pass.
to pass, and he's going to be sacked on the 45-yard line. Great defense by East Columbus. Up the middle, he looked real quick, but he couldn't have no time left on that play, and down went Russ Weicker, and it'll be 4th down and about 6.
Big play for East Columbus, making a statement on the first defensive series, and we've got South Stanley now back to punt. And we've got Greg Melvin back deep to receive. It's a high kick, fairly short, and takes a South Stanley bounce to the 30-yard line. East Columbus will take over 1st and 10 on their first offensive series. No score here, 9:54 left to go in the first quarter.
So about a 30-so yard punt from Jordan Starnes there, and we will see what East Columbus does here on offense on their first possession of the game. And so Ratliff comes in as he gets his Gators set up and gets ready to start here in their first drive of the game. We got a 2-back set. Ratliff out of the option. Ball's going to be handed off to Nick McClure, and McClure's going to get just about to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that was really a counter play, and Nick McClure off the right side, off right tackle. Not a lot there.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, 9 minutes and 37 seconds left here in the first quarter. East Columbus is on their possession. If you just joined us, they stopped South Stanley with a 3-and-out and took the punt on their own 25. So still have Ratliff in the gun. looks over, calls for the snap, and this is going to be a handoff to Manning the other way, and Manning's still on his feet up to the 35 and still on his feet. And it's taken a pile of South Stanley to bring him down, and that should be enough to move the chains. Let's see where the refs actually spotted at, but that was, yes, it is a first down, so gain of 10 on that play by Taryn Manning. Good reverse there. It looked like it was going to Nick McClure, and Manning took it and cut up to his left. And
that's the advantage of having that split backfield where you can quickly counter one way or the other and try to get those linebackers to move around and try to get a little action there off tackle.
And guys, I would think that if I'm South Stanley, my first and foremost, I'm going to stop McClure and say, okay, what else can you beat me with?
And I think we've seen East Columbus has several weapons, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out here.
Ratliff takes the snaps, hands off to Nick McClure, making McClure right up the middle and on his feet for a gain of 8. So good power running by East Columbus with 8 minutes and 45 seconds left here in the first quarter. East Columbus has the ball for the first time and is marching it down the field so far. So we got a 2nd and 2. And Ratliff is still going to be back in the gun as he gets the call in from the sidelines.
Okay. Got Derek Young split out to the left here.
Still got Manning and McClure, and this time another reverse again, and Manning's got it, and he's on his feet to the 50. There he goes to the 40. He's on his way to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Taryn Manning. What a run. He cut through the middle, that hole opened up, and he was off, and there was I'm not sure anybody laid a hand on Taryn Manning in that run.
Excellent blocking at the point of attack, kicking out
that was awesome.
Blocking down on the tackle, and I didn't see what happened with the linebacker, but there was an easy path there for Taryn Manning to get a 6, and it looks like that's 65 yards there.
57.
57.
We saw 5 monstrous touchdowns last week of 17 yards or more, and East Columbus starts right back the same way this time. The ball is down, snapped, Lamas puts it up, and it is good.
East Columbus out now 7-0, 8:09 left in the first quarter on another big play, which we've seen, Rod, how many times this season?
Oh,
East
my
Columbus.
goodness. They are explosive in the run game. Well, the pass game too, but that run game, if that hole opens up, you better hang on. And Manning he manipulated it.
And when you've got two backs, and the quarterback has the ability to hand either way, you're able to send backs in opposite directions. You're able to get, especially the linebackers, making a read and hopefully making the wrong read. It can help open up those holes. So impressive opening offensive series. And once again, for those of you who are listening, maybe never seen East Columbus play, they go in no huddle. It's very quick. The play is basically signaled in from the sideline, and they go, and it's about 15 seconds in between plays. So,
all right, so Lamas has his men lined up. Here he goes. Let's see what he does this time, and he's going to drill this one back. And I hear whistles, but that one lands on the 15, and
it's going to be offside on the Gator kicking team. That's why the ball was blown dead.
And that'll back it up 5 yards, and we'll do it again. Looks like we got Devontae Hamilton back deep to receive for South Stanley, along with Montrell Brewer.
It's nice to have somebody with us that gets the call right before I start guessing at what I think it is.
Added a new level of professionalism, Franklin. So we appreciate you being here and keeping us straight.
As long as you keep calling me professional, I'll keep coming back.
So the ball moves back to the 35. Lamas gets his men set. So he's kicked one squib, and he drove that last one, and this one will be a medium-high kick, and it's going to probably go out of bounds. And it does. So that's going to give South Stanley some decent starting position here as the ball will.
Should be at the 40-yard line, I believe. I think it's normally spotted at the 35, but with the 5 yards that they had to back up before, should be spotted at the 40, I believe.
And I'm wondering why they're...
Oh, okay, they're going to make them kick it again.
Okay.
That you have that option.
Do you move it back then when you kick again? Or
yeah, you got to move it back 5 more yards.
Okay.
So South Stanley obviously has a lot of confidence in their return game, so rather than take the ball at the 40, they want an opportunity to break this kickoff, especially after the team has run down the field twice now, so you even have a better opportunity.
That's definitely
true. All right, so here, round 3, we've got the Gators lined up. Here comes Lamas, and this is going to be a squib kick up the middle, and there it is on the 35.
Taken there by Connor Ford, and
he is taking it to the 45.
So 5-yard advantage there, making them kick it twice. So it's taking over 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line of South Stanley is South Stanley, coming out for their second offensive series.
So they're huddling up, going over the play that's been sent in, and more than likely we will see number 2, Russ Weicker, up under center. And we'll see how many backs. May run a 2-back set this time.
And we've got 2 wide receivers stacked to the left side, tight end on the right side.
So number 44, Anthony Smith, in the fullback position, and looks like number 1, Devonta Hamilton. Well, they're more about even now.
And looks like you might be checking off here.
So they're down. The ball is hiked, and that's number 44, and he is going to be brought down on the 49-yard line.
Yeah, nice play there by Jeremy Rouse, getting up there for a short gain, or not as big of a gain as it would have been, but still a 4-yard gain. And
so we're looking at 2nd and 6. Ball's on the 49-yard line of South Stanley. There's 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in this first quarter of play, with South Stanley having the ball for their second time tonight. So Weicker goes up under center, still have a 2-back set, looks to his right and then to his left. The ball snapped, and he's going to drop back to pass. Here comes East on the rush. The ball's going to be thrown and caught at the 41-yard line of East Columbus.
Yeah, that was Jordan Starnes there on the reception, and it's enough for South Stanley first down.
So we will move to chains, and South Stanley will huddle up to go over the next play as East gets ready here on defense. We have 7 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the first quarter. East Columbus has a 7-0 lead. And South Stanley is on their second possession with a 1st and 10 on East 41.
2 wide receivers stacked, one behind the other on the right side, and waiting for the snap here.
And once again, number 44, Anthony Smith, takes it to the 36-yard line.
So it looks like South Stanley's plan is to grind it inside and every once in a while try to loosen things up by throwing a short pass out into the flats. We've seen that on a couple of occasions now. So it's interesting. We haven't seen many teams this season that actually huddle up.
No, we haven't.
With that, after watching Red Springs and also St. Paul's that runs a similar offense to East Columbus.
So here comes Russ Weicker back up under center. Still going to have 2 backs, still running the trips to the right. He's going to drop back, and this one's going to number 1. No, he's going to keep it himself, and he is going to be brought down maybe a yard or 2 over the line of scrimmage. Not much.
And good play there by Jeremy Rouse and also Henry Baldwin.
So he actually didn't gain anything on that. We're looking at a 3rd and probably a 3rd and a long 4 with 6 minutes and 4 seconds left here. South Stanley sees himself in the second 3rd down of the night. And last time on 3rd down, Gators were able to sack Russ.
3rd and short that time. It's 3rd and a good 5 yards. This time see what South Stanley dials up.
So they got 2 backs in the 2 trips to the right. Looks it over. The ball's hiked. He's going to drop back to throw. He's going to go to his right, and ball is over the head of number 14, Jawan Johnson. So 4th and long 4, short 5 on the 36-yard line. Now, we saw a guy warming up, but we're talking 53 yards from here.
And it looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down and see what the change of personnel looks like. Looks like they are going for it, and this is a huge play. We already had 1 3rd down that created a punt early for East Columbus's defense. This is a big play here to stop South Stanley on 4th down on the Gator 35-yard line.
We haven't seen this. 3-back set. Ball's going to be handed off to number 1.
Getting outside,
Devonta Hamilton.
He is not going to get there. He is not going to get there.
And that will be a turnover on downs. So East Columbus.
Big stop on 4th down. So South Stanley ran the ball twice and was unsuccessful getting the first down. So East Columbus is going to take over now, leading 7-0 here with 5:51 left to go in the first quarter.
Gators have to be happy about that. They are 2 for 2 on 3rd down stoppage, and now 1 for 1 on 4th down, and that's what you want to see out of your defense. So they're going to take over on their own 36-yard line. Ball to Ratliff. Ratliff hands off to Taryn Manning. Manning's got some room and just can't get around the corner. So he's going to get a gain of 2 of the play.
South Stanley did a good job preventing Taryn Manning from hitting the corner. Derek Young was 3-on-1 there trying to take out 3 guys, and just South Stanley read that well. So here we go now.
Yeah, because that could have been – Manning has had runs of 10 and 57. So
of course, we still got 6 yards on the play, so still successful there for East Columbus.
All right, so we got second down, ball handed off to and the stop.
Yeah.
Flag on the far sides for offside. Jared, let's see, who was it? Derek Young lined up so far back at his wide receiver spot that the defensive back, to get his normal depth off of him, walked across the line of scrimmage, so it's going to be 5 yards marked off against South Stanley for offside.
That's a good strategy there, isn't it?
Yeah. And that should be enough for the – that's going to be close to the first down anyway.
Yes.
First penalty on South Stanley tonight. Gators have been flagged 3 times.
That's going to bring up second. Well, that's –
They're calling it the first down.
Okay, so –
All right, so that's going to move the chains. So 1st and 10, Ratliff's in the gun, 2-back set, McClure and Manning. Waits the snap. There it is, up to Manning. No, reverse over to McClure. McClure goes up the middle for a gain of roughly 2. So far they've been able to handle Nick McClure, not really let him get that full steam going. So I'm interested to see what happens when he can get wound up.
And I think, again, with linebackers, the more and more they think about that C gap and McClure running there, the more it may open up outside. Have to keep our eye on that.
The ball's on East's 45, and Ratliff takes the snap, hands off,
No, he
and
keeps
it. And he's going to go right side, and he's got a big hole. And the ball's loose. It popped up. Let's see how this one turns out. Referee's coming to try to get in there. I saw it pop. I don't know where it landed. They're separating. East. Everybody's still down. Ref's in the middle. Don't see no pointing yet. South Stanley looks happy.
South Stanley
and
football.
they've got it. So turnover by number 12, Ricky Ratliff, and South Stanley will take over on their own 49-yard line, and this will be their 3rd possession of the ball game with 4 minutes and 14 seconds left here in the first quarter. East Columbus has a 7-0 lead over South Stanley.
And it's tough. You're moving the football, and all of a sudden you got a turnover and see how the defense responds.
All right, so here comes Russ Weicker. He's up to the line. He's going to have that 3-back set that we saw on 4th down. Looks over the defense. The ball will be handed off to number 7, and he's going to be met right on the line of scrimmage. So that was Lomax on the line and no gain on the play. So with
Caleb Edgell.
So with 4 minutes here in the first quarter remaining, East Columbus holding on to a 7-0 lead. South Stanley has the ball. It's 2nd and 10 on their own 49-yard line. Offensive line has come back. Weicher's going up under center. Still going to be in that 3-back set. So that's Hamilton, usually Hamilton, Lomax, and Hamilton's got it. Hamilton's trying to turn the corner. No go. Who is that? Number 10, Mac Jenkins.
Play by Mac Jenkins.
What a tackle for a one-yard loss. Met him up and took him down.
I think the officials are being a little gracious on that, too. Great play coming up, and that's an excellent example of how you get your players to come up the football field and take away the corner and force them back inside. Of course, you didn't have to force them back inside.
Yeah, that was outstanding.
And also an excellent form tackle there by Mac Jenkins. That's exactly the way you teach it.
That's
form tackle 101 right there.
Very impressive there. 3 minutes. Here comes Weicker up under center. He's in a 3rd and 11.
We've got trips left.
With just number 44, Anthony Smith, in the backfield. He's looking it over. 44 is now going to split to the right. He's going to drop back to pass, quick pass, and it's going to be intercepted by Derek Young on the 40. He's still on his feet on his 50. To the 40. There he goes. Off to the races. 30. To the 20. To the 10. 5. Touchdown, Derek Young. And there's the flag.
Flag back on the 50, guys.
Yeah, Jeremy Rouse.
That one
Jeremy
coming
Rouse
back.
blocked below the waist.
Wow, what an interception. When them balls go up in the air, it's anybody's game, and Derek Young was ready.
And, yeah, you hate that. You hate that because that could have been a big momentum changer there, but bringing it back and
Still should be Gator football, just going
Right.
to take the points off the board.
And I'm wondering if the other flag was the same penalty. We got 2 on the field.
I didn't see the other one.
The one is actually right in front of the bench.
So see if that's the So that one,
61-yard return by Young, wiped out because of the flag, but still should be Gator football.
And we got a block below the waist.
so that'll give them the ball. So they've got the ball. Once again, they are 3 for 3 on third down, this time coming away with a big turnover after. So what do you do when you turn it over? You answer it with a turnover.
Absolutely. And if South Stanley drives the length of the field and then scores, they've got the momentum. Now East Columbus has the football. Touchdown was brought back, but let's see what happens this time on offense. East Columbus has been very successful moving the football.
They have been. And they were, when they fumbled, they were on the go here. So Ratliff, 1st and 10 on the 40. He has the two-back set, high snap. Nick McClure, no, he takes it again, and he's going to go, and he's on his feet. And he's brought down at about the 47-yard line. So that's good for a 7-yard gain, and it'll bring up 2nd and 3 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the first quarter. East Columbus has the ball and a 7-0 lead.
Guys, I like that play call. That was the same play that Ratliff fumbled on previously, and just showing the confidence in him to go right back to him again.
Absolutely.
I
Good coaching
agree.
there. Good coaching there.
So 2nd down, Ratliff takes it, and this one's going to be reversed to Manning, and he's going to go up the middle, and here he
He's loose.
goes. And to the 40, he's loose, to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, one more to go, touchdown, Taryn Manning.
No flags. No
And there's
flags.
no orange on the field. With 1 minute and 49 seconds left, Taryn Manning rips off another huge run on that reverse play, and it is 13-0 here in the Swamp. And the Gators are just exploding on offense.
That one was 54 yards, guys.
Wow, he's rolling them up. So we're going to go for the extra point here. They're lined up. Derek Young will hold, and Lamas will kick. They await the snap as Lamas gets set. Young looks back. He's ready. The ball's up. It's down, and it is good. 1 minute and 49 seconds left here in the Swamp. East Columbus has a 14-0 lead over South Stanley, the Rowdy Rebel Bulls. What do you think, Kelly?
I think it's interesting how you had Taryn Manning on that play. Unlike the last play where basically he was untouched, it was actually a very nice piece of running, and it shows the strength and how the conditioning and the work in the weight room is starting to pay off for these young men. There were probably 3 or 4 South Stanley players that had an opportunity to actually bring him down.
And that, there at the end, that last guy, I'm not sure where he come from, but now he had speed, and he had, if that one had gone any farther, I'm not sure Manning would have been able to outrun him. So two big long plays by Taryn Manning to put the score at 14-0, and we're still in the first quarter. Here comes the kick from Lamas. Let's see. He goes with another fairly deep one.
And that's for Devontae Hamilton.
And it's on the ground, but he's got it.
And East Columbus is all over the play.
But and down he goes. Wasn't sure there as he is tackled on the 16-yard line.
And we talked a lot throughout the season about special teams. And that was a play where a lot of times you'll see a kicking team get out of position and allow another player, the receiving team, to come back the opposite direction. But East Columbus staying in their lanes. So good job on that play.
We have seen on kickoffs the ball coming out. Is it because it's cold? Is it just because it's taking some crazy hops off the ground? Or
I think it's probably a combination of both.
So here comes South Stanley, Russ Weicker, and he's going to hand off, and it is going to be stopped on the line of scrimmage. That was number 44, Anthony Smith, for no gain.
And looks like that was Jeremy Rousen on the play, as well as a few other Gators there. Good sportsmanship, helping the guy up too. So that's what our coaches used to tell us. You knock them down and you help them up, so you can knock them down again.
There you go.
South Stanley has the ball on their own 14-yard line. It's second down and 10, maybe 11. East has a 14-0 lead, and the ball's going to be dry. And Russ is going to go back to throw, and it's intercepted. Was that number 88? No, not 88. Who is that one, Kelly? Couldn't make it out.
Couldn't make it out, but we had Caleb Edgell and Henry Baldwin applying the pressure that caused the interception. So here's East Columbus with the chance to go up by 3 scores in the first quarter.
So the Gators has intercepted the ball, and they have it on their own, or on the Stanley 11-yard line. First and 10, 52.4 seconds in the first quarter. The Gators hold up to a 14-0, and now Nick
Rouse under center with Nick McClure.
He's on his feet and goes down to the 10-yard line.
5-yard gain there by Nick McClure.
So they may get one more off before the quarter comes to an end.
Well, with East Columbus's offense, that's 36 seconds is enough to run about 10.
That's definitely true with this option offense. I believe East may have called a timeout. I didn't see.
Like South
No,
Stanley.
South Stanley called the timeout.
And this is a good timeout by South Stanley, because if East Columbus goes up by 3 scores here, we got a lot of football left.
Right.
But if they go up by 3 scores, it's not only a strategic issue, but it starts to become a morale issue.
Right.
You know, you're on the road. It's kind of cold. You've had a few plays go against you. East Columbus has had a couple of really big plays, and now on offense and defense. So with 2 interceptions, you need to stop them here, and you need to make a statement here, just like East Columbus did with 2 fourth-down stops, or a third-down stop and a fourth-down stop. This is a big play for South Stanley. And, again, we have a lot of football to go, but to go up by 3 scores on the road in the first quarter makes it a long road out of.
That's just a tough. Yeah, it's tough to come back from that and to be on the road and
I really look for East Columbus to grind it out. Now you see we've got Ratliff under center now,
and that one's going to be hand off to Nick McClure. He's going left side, and he is
going to be about a yard short. It looks like from here.
Yeah, that was the 5 they started from, not the 10. So they're going to be down about the 1-yard line, and it's going to be third and goal.
And I think we're probably going to see the end of the quarter here.
Actually, I think they could make a first down without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, looks like that.
Oh,
looks
I do
like
see it.
They're about a half a yard from that now. Looks like we might get one more play off.
So we're looking at about third and less than a yard. And this one's going to be handed off to Nick McClure, and he's in for the touchdown. With 1.1 second left in the first quarter, East Columbus jumps out to a 20-0 lead over the visiting South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls.
And we've got to give a prop there to the left side of the East Columbus offensive line. He was not touched.
He wasn't.
Had a huge hole there.
So Young gets set so Lamas can go for the extra point. He checks with Lamas. The line is set. He looks. He calls. The ball's down. It's up. And it is good. So 21-0 here in the swamp at Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina. The Gators have jumped out and put 21 on the board in the first quarter. What an offensive explosion.
And what a great defensive quarter for East Columbus. Every time that South Stanley got the football and got some momentum, there was a big play by East Columbus, either by stopping on downs or with 2 interceptions. So it's kind of reminiscent of some of the defensive momentum that happened at the St. Paul's game, where you had the defense actually taking over the football game in the second quarter. So a lot of offensive action, but in many cases set up by the defense.
Yeah, 2 interceptions, a stoppage on 4th down. That's a busy first 12 minutes. So the ball's still going to be kicked off here in the first quarter with 1.1 second left. It's 21-0 East Columbus over the visiting South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls, and we're waiting on Lamas to kick it and let's see if we get and this one's going to be a line drive, but a high one, and that one's going to go back through the end zone.
It's going to be a touchback now.
And that'll bring it out to the 20. And there'll be time to get one play off here before we switch sides and go into the second quarter. Oh, here comes the offense of South Stanley out, and here comes the defense of East Columbus out.
Rod, we haven't seen many touchbacks this year. Everybody's been putting the ball on the ground so much with squib kicks. So it might be our
the first one
touchback
we've seen. And, some that's all they do is that squib or that short kick, and then some, just like East, they just mix it up, so you're really not quite sure. So South Stanley's going to go with a one-back set, sends number 1 in motion, and he's met at the line of scrimmage hard by number 11. And he had Henry Baldwin, and he had help, missed the second
and
number.
Elijah Gresham was in there too.
So that ends the first quarter here in the swamp at East Columbus at Lake Waccamaw. They have a 21-0 lead over South Stanley, and they will get ready to start the second quarter and switch sides of the field. So I'll tell you what, I am impressed. They brought a good crowd with them here tonight to the game. South Stanley's got quite a few people on their side over there.
And South Stanley is located in Norwood, which is a very small but close-knit community. I grew up not too far from there. And one thing about South Stanley that I always remember from growing up in the area is they have a lake out in front of the school. So, but yeah, I would suspect anywhere this team would go, they would have a good following. So,
I'd have never wanted to gone to class. I'd have just wanted to been out there fishing all day long.
I have a feeling that's probably an issue even to this day.
Yeah, me and the principal may have become best friends.
Guys, the rushing stats in the first quarter. East Columbus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 carries, 160 yards. And for South Stanley, they've had 10 carries for 7 yards.
Wow.
Do you know how many yards Taryn Manning had that quarter?
I can tell you in just a second.
Okay.
Whatever 60 and 67 is, 127.
Not a bad quarter.
Not a bad quarter.
All right, so here comes second down, and we got all kinds of movement.
Yeah, and Hamilton was in motion, but it looked like someone
So the first play of the second quarter is ended, or
jumped a little early there.
He's
and
coming
that's
up in
procedure.
flags.
Yes, got some.
So that's going to take South Stanley back 5 more, and that'll bring up second down and 15, and they will be on their own 15-yard line with 11 minutes and 57 seconds left here in the second quarter. East Columbus leads 21-0. So
And they're talking over something. Let's.
not quite sure what this is about. Let's see. Is the game, are they adding some stuff to the game clock? Was there no time should come off?
Yeah, that's correct. That needs to the game clock needs to be reset to 12 minutes. They're getting it. There you go.
A dead ball foul.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so we've got the clock switched. We have South Stanley coming back out. Number 2, Russ Weicker up under center. He's going to have 2 men in the backfield. He's going to have 2 spread to his left. And he looks over the defense. Audible's back to his backfield. Now he's talking to his lineman. He's getting ready to get set under center. And the ball is hiked. Somebody lost some footing. And
Nick McClure all over the ball carrier.
East Columbus almost took that handoff.
I think Nick McClure thought he was on offense that time. He was just going to take the ball.
He wanted another touchdown. So with 11 minutes and 45 seconds here in the second quarter, we have a third down and 15 coming up for South Stanley as they are on their own 15-yard line. So they're getting ready to get set. 2 men in the backfield. 1 receiver split wide to the left. Once again, he's audibling. Forget it. He's calling it in. And that one's met.
And Nick McClure once again smells out the play and makes the play in the backfield for a 3-yard loss.
4 for 4 on third down stoppage and 1 for 1 on fourth down. That defense is fired up.
And that's going to send number 10, Mac Jenkins, back deep to receive the punt, and the punter there is in his own end zone.
So number 23, Jordan Starnes, and he takes it, and he gets it off end over end.
Good punt.
Jenkins backs up, fields it on the 47 of South Stanley, and he's still on his feet to the 40.
Nice return there.
41. So, yeah. So East Columbus will take over at the 41-yard line of South Stanley. They have a 21-0 lead here in the Swamp with 10 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the second quarter. So let's see. You think they'll stay with that 2-back set? It seems to be working. We'll have to wait.
Yeah, I have to see. It's interesting to see. I don't know that we've seen Ratliff under center this much. Of course, he's back out in the gun.
And we've got McClure and Manning in the back. And that one's, there's that reverse back to Manning, and he's still on his feet to the 35, 30, 25.
First down.
And So he runs off 40 or 16 yards on that one, and just one man to beat before he was off to the races for the third straight time.
And
So
once again, that was a counter play, and it is so hard to be able to know where the ball is going because the linebackers especially have to see through the offensive line. And as far as you know, McClure could have it, Manning could have it. You really don't know, and it's really hard to pick that out, especially as well as East Columbus is running it.
Ratliff has done an exceptional job covering that up because, honestly, even up here with nobody standing in front of you, it's hard to tell who has it until it's already developing. Ratliff takes the snap. He's going to roll right. He's
got a
going to
man
throw.
open.
And there's number 87,
Elijah Gresham for the touchdown. Perfect throw.
So 25-yard touchdown pass to number 87, Elijah Gresham, and it is now 27-0 East Columbus over South Stanley. So they are going to line up for the extra point and see if they can make it 28.
And we'll want to talk about that play in just a second. We get through the extra point here.
So Derek Young is down. Lamas has marked off his distance. Young sees he set, calls for the snap. The ball is down, and it is
It's going to be good.
Good. 28-0.
So what happens when you're able to run that counter successfully and you've got those the linebackers, you've got the whole defense starting to creep up and try to get some help on stopping Manning and McClure? It opens up the play action for you, which we saw there. So you have success in the run, it opens up the passing game.
So Ratliff is 1 for 1 with a 25-yard touchdown pass to number 87, Elijah Gresham. And both teams are huddled on their sideline. There's 9 minutes and 54 seconds left here in the second quarter. East Columbus has a 28-0 lead over South Stanley. And South Stanley is awaiting the kickoff, and here comes both teams back out. East Columbus is lining up on their own 40.
Hey guys.
Yes, sir.
Score from Albemarle with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's 0-0 Union Academy and Albemarle, and that's the winner of this game will take on the winner of that game in round 3.
Sounds good. Have you heard any more scores down that way?
Give me a moment and I'll check.
All right, here comes the kick, and Lamas drives that one back deep, and number 4,
Montrell Brewer
he's
takes
on
it.
the backtrack. And he's still on his feet, and he goes down at the 23-yard line.
Good coverage there by the kicking team for
Very
East
good
Columbus.
coverage. So South Stanley will take over on their own 23-yard line with 9 minutes and 46 seconds left here in the second quarter. They are trailing East Columbus by a score of 28-0.
Yeah, and this is the series. If South Stanley wants to get back in this football game, they cannot let East Columbus get their hands on the ball again with much time left here in the second quarter. So very important series for South Stanley.
So here comes Russ Weicker up to the line. He's going to have a 2-back set. One receiver spread to his right. He looks to his right. And that's going to be handed off to number 1.
He is in trouble.
And he is in trouble.
Henry Baldwin met him, but there were also 3 or 4 other Gators.
Devontae Hamilton is going to lose 4 yards on the play. And it'll be second down and probably 14, depending on where that spot is at. And South Stanley's going to huddle up, get the next play set up before they get started. East Columbus is already there to the line, ready for.
Guys, Hamilton's carried 5 times for minus 6 yards. Came into the ball game with almost 1,500 yards rushing on the season.
Some amazing stats. So Weicher's looking over. He has 3 men in the backfield, and this one's going to number 44, and he is met and driven back. So he
Henry
may have
Baldwin was the first man to get there, but he had 5 or 6 Gators behind him. And Rod, this is dominating right now.
This is dominating.
East Columbus is dominating the offense, and they're dominating up front.
So third down and 12. South Stanley has the ball on their own 21-yard line. There's 8 minutes and 30 seconds left here in this second quarter. East Columbus is leading by a score of 28-0. So East Columbus is lined up, and they are ready. South Stanley is breaking the huddle. We will see Weicker up under center, and this time he will keep they're going to call a timeout, I think, and talk this one over. So South Stanley will take their second timeout of the first half, and they'll go talk about this 3rd down and 12. This is big. East Columbus is perfect on 3rd down stoppages so far, and perfect on 4th down stoppages. So,
guys, I got a score from East Bladen.
What you got?
East Bladen 14, Eastern Randolph 7, second quarter.
That one's tight. Any word on South Columbus?
Got South Columbus leading 6-0.
So South Columbus 6-0, East Bladen 14-7, and the game that fans here are interested in, Albemarle and Union Academy 0-0 in the second quarter.
Franklin, do you have somebody at that game?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You've got people everywhere.
We try.
The sun never sets on your sports dynasty.
Sun never sets on Columbus County Sports Network. That's it.
So 3rd down and 12 with 8 minutes and 12 seconds left here in the second quarter. South Stanley is up to the line. Here comes Russ Weicker, is going to come up under center. He has one man in the backfield, and he has 2 men split both sides, wide right and wide left. He's going to drop back. He's looking over the middle. That one's going over the middle, and he overthrows number 23, Jordan Starnes. So it'll be 4th and 12.
Yeah. Ryan Howard on the coverage was there step for step.
So we'll see. I'm pretty sure they're going to punt from this end. And Jordan Starnes looks like he is headed back to do the punting.
But I think is exactly what South Stanley has to do, is they have to try to loosen up that East Columbus defense, and throwing the football is probably going to be the best way to do that.
Yeah, East has been all over the run tonight. That's a step, but he gets it off.
Punt, yep.
And it's going to take a South Stanley bounce, and it's going to go dead on the 40-yard line of East Columbus. So East Columbus will take back over with 8 minutes left here in the second quarter. They have a 28-0 lead over South Stanley at this point of the ball game. We've seen 3 rushing touchdowns. We've seen 1 passing touchdown. We've seen them run handoff. We've seen them try to fake one and run the other. So they're doing a good job mixing it up, and they are keeping South Stanley back on their heels. And here comes Ratliff back in the gun with Nick McClure and Taryn Manning in the backfield. Ratliff takes the snap. Taryn Manning gets the ball. He's through the 40 to the 45 and down to the 46-yard line. So a gain of 6 on 1st and 10. That'll bring up 2nd down and 4.
Cameron Daniels for South Stanley on the tackle. And once again, that's that counter play where the quarterback turns his back. Who am I going to give it to? McClure? Manning? McClure? Manning? And, it's very difficult. I cannot tell you, being in the situation and being especially at defensive line is very difficult to know where that ball is going.
He's done an awesome job mixing it up. 2nd down and 4. Ratliff waits, takes the snap, and he's going to go up the middle. And he's on his feet to the 50, and that'll move the chains. So 1st down, East Columbus, as they have taken the ball to the 50-yard line with 7 minutes and 18 seconds left here in the second quarter, and a 28-0 lead for the Gators. So they are mixing it. They're mixing it up good tonight, and you're seeing Manning and Ratliff and McClure sharing the balls, and still only 1 pass, though. But, hey, if you're running the ball the way they are, I guess, why switch?
Absolutely. Derek Young split out in the slot position up to the left, and McClure now goes in motion.
So Ratliff is going to – I'm saying McClure. Let's see. No, he's going to go down the sideline, and that's going to be incomplete. I believe that was intended – it was Derek Young. Good pass. It was right there, but that was great defense by – was that number 48? No, not 48.
Looks like we got number 18, Connor Ford.
So that was great defense by South Stanley on that play. All right, 2nd down and 10. East Columbus still in the option. Here comes Nick McClure back to his side right of the quarterback. Ratliff looks it over, calls for the snap, and hands off to Manning. Manning dodges 1, tries to get around 2, and he does. And he's still on his feet, but he's forced out of bounds after a 2-yard gain. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
Taryn Manning running hard tonight, and the only thing that stopped him this time was sideline.
Right. If he'd have been more, if he'd have cut it sooner, or that the play had been a little bit over, he'd have been back off again.
East Columbus taking a timeout here.
So 3rd down and 8. Not seeing too many 3rd downs for East Columbus tonight, especially 3rd and 8.
Seems like it's been all first down.
Haven't seen too many drives that have had more than 3 plays in them.
Well, that's true too. So
Let's see, 4 plays and a touchdown, 3 plays and a fumble, 2 plays and a touchdown, 3 plays and a touchdown, 2 plays and a touchdown, and this is the 5th play of this drive. So this is the longest drive from a play standpoint that East Columbus has had all night.
And do you think it's by design, Franklin? Do you think that they're really trying to grind it out here a little bit to try to make a statement and try to run out the clock here in the second quarter?
I don't think so. I think, Kelly, I think the natural tendency is to look at the scoreboard and see it's 28-0 and maybe lose a little focus, and I think that's what that timeout was about. That, guys, we're midway the second quarter here. We got a lot of football left to play. Let's get our minds right and get back after it.
yeah, I think that was Coach Moss met him first, and he, by his body language, he was not happy with those last couple of plays. And so it's 3rd down and 8. Ratliff's still in the gun, and he's going to drop back to pass. The rush is on, and he breaks through, and he's on his feet. Good hit by Ratliff. Ratliff put a hit on number 54, Todd Garland. But that's going to be short of the first down, and we're going to have 4th and about 3.
So do you punt it here, Franklin?
I would, with the way the defense is playing, I'd punt it, try to pin them deep, and see if my defense can turn them over again. They haven't moved the football on them, and you actually need to work on your punting game some because you're going to need it at some point.
Yep.
So this is an excellent opportunity to do it against an opponent.
And Ricky Ratliff now back to punt.
And he gets it off and almost blocked. And that's going to take a
punt.
good
It's
East
gonna go to the
Columbus.
corner.
Good bounce.
And that's going
That
to be
is outstanding.
They call that the coffin corner for a reason.
And he kicked it all the way down to the 5-yard line where it goes out of bounds. So that was good for
40 yards.
40-yard punt. Yeah, you couldn't hit the corner much better than that one.
It wasn't a thing of beauty, but it ended up being beautiful.
No, and to credit South Stanley, they almost got that punt blocked. They got a good rush on that, but Ratliff got it off, and it benefited East Columbus majorly.
Now for South Stanley here, you got to think I'm in the shadow of my own goalpost. I need to get this ball out and give myself a little bit of breathing room.
So 5
We've got
minutes.
a spread formation now, a little different look from South Stanley. 2 wide receivers on the right, a split in on the left.
We got 5 minutes and 51 seconds as they take over on their own 5, and
He's gonna throw it out of the
Riker's
end
gonna
zone.
Throw, and good defense by East Columbus. Number 1, Devontae Hamilton catches it, but he's tackled on the line of scrimmage.
Jalen Dumas, number 22, hit him immediately.
He lost a yard.
I think so.
He did. It's 2nd and 11, and they're now on their 4. That's dangerous territory to be back in that end with the way East Columbus's defense is playing. 5.5 minutes left here in the second quarter. East Columbus holding a 28-0 lead. South Stanley has the ball on 2nd and 11, and Weicker is, I believe Weicher's back in the gun.
He is, and he's got a spread formation, 3 wide receivers.
And he's got it,
looking to throw again.
and it's incomplete. Through the hands of number 14, Jawan Johnson, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 11 from their own 4.
And I really have to think you've got Anthony Smith back there that is obviously 1,500 yards, can run the football.
Right.
And throwing out of your own end zone, they must have a lot of faith in Russ Weicker.
Or they've lost faith in their running attack.
Well,
Good point.
that too. What kind of yardage passing-wise, have you seen any on Weicker?
40 for 80 for 500 yards.
So that one's going to be kicked out to the right, and he's going to be pushed. I believe he got the first down.
Yep, got the first down.
So the first 3rd down of the night has just been completed by South Stanley, 5 minutes and 3 seconds into the second quarter.
And looks like South Stanley's going no huddle here.
So we're seeing a little bit of change here as Weicker threw that one out of the gun, and he's got a 1st and 10 on his own 19-yard line. Number 44 is in the backfield with him. He's got 2 spread right, 2 spread left. Takes the snap, looks quickly to his right.
That's complete to Jawan Johnson. for very little gain.
See what they get. See if they gain a 1, looks
I
like.
think they're going to give him a loss. Well, it's going to give him, we'll say a yard. It's not quite a yard.
So 2nd and 9 with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the second quarter. South Stanley has the ball, and they are trailing 28-0 over the home team, East Columbus Gators.
We're seeing South in this 4 wide receiver set now, out of the shotgun with single back, and once again throwing it.
And he's going back to hit Juwan Johnson, and Johnson hangs on, and see how many this time. That one's good for close to 6.
And Mac Jenkins on the coverage there.
Maybe 7.
And it's going to bring up 3rd and 3.
So they gave him 5 yards on that one. And it's 3rd and 3.
So we've seen 4 now, I believe, consecutive passes.
Yes, we've seen them completely revamp the offense. They've gone from under center to the option. They've gone to no huddle. And they are getting some first downs. So let's see if they can come this. And they're going deep on this one. And Johnson's got a lead. And he is unable to hang on to it.
And player there for South Stanley had a step on, I believe it was Mac Jenkins, and he is shaken up a little bit, probably got the wind knocked out of him. But number 14, Juwan Johnson, had a step on Jenkins, it looked like, and just could not bring it in. And Jenkins closed pretty quick there, and I think was able to knock the ball loose.
So once again, East Columbus is successful.
It's a fake. There was a fake there by South Stanley, and
Where it's being marked, they didn't make it, guys.
did not make it. So East Columbus, after the fake punt, takes over on downs.
2 for 2 on 4th down stoppage. Those are some big impressive numbers.
So with East Columbus leading 28-0, South Stanley on their own.
I don't know. It looks like he may have gotten a little bit better mark than we first expected looking from the guy on this
They're gonna
sideline.
measure?
They're going to bring the chains in.
Okay, this
East thinks they've stopped them, though.
if
We'll wait and see.
East Columbus, if they are short, East Columbus will take over the football up 4 scores on the South Stanley 27-yard line. Let's see here.
East is looking happy.
And it is
They
East
are.
Columbus football. Did not get the first down.
Stopped on 2nd down for the second time, or 4th down for the second time. And that's a gutsy call in that area of the field.
Very gutsy call, and I think it's maybe seeing some of the frustration and maybe a little desperation now.
East Columbus takes over on the 26-yard line of South Stanley, and Ratliff back in the gun, 2-back set. The ball's hiked, and that one's going to number 20.
That's Britton
and
Spalding.
He's on his feet.
Enough for a first down.
And he moves it up to at least the 12.
It looks like we've got it on the
I don't know if he
18.
made it to
17. Check
yeah.
that.
I don't know if he made enough of the. Yeah, they're moving it. So 1st and 10, ball will be on the 17-yard line of South Stanley. Britton Spalding has a first down on his first run of the night. So back in the gun, Ratliff takes the snap, and that one is going to be Ratliff keeps it, or is he blocking?
No, that was Ratliff on the carry, and Taryn Manning threw a great block.
So they moved it up to. That got it up to the 16-yard line, so we got a 2nd and 8 with 2 minutes and 55 seconds left here in the second quarter. East Columbus has a 28-0 lead, and they have the ball on the 16-yard line of South Stanley. So we have Ratliff in the gun, 2-back set. There goes Manning.
Motion.
And there goes the flag.
Or
Yeah,
procedure.
It's going to be procedure, and that's going to make it now 2nd and about 14.
So that's going to move the ball back to the 21-yard line of South Stanley, and East Columbus will come up with about a 2nd and 13, long 13, short 14. Guess nothing short at that distance. So let's see, Ratliff in the gun. They're going to try this again. Send Manning in motion. He takes the snap. McClure's blocking. That one's going to be thrown out to,
Looks like that's Gresham.
and that one will be complete and
Check
gets
that.
to
Marquise King.
Gets
It's gonna
back
be
to
well
about the
short
original
first
line
down,
of
yeah. It's going to
scrimmage.
bring up third and about 10.
So right at 2 minutes here in this second quarter, East Columbus has the ball. Third down and 10. They have the ball on South Stanley's 17-yard line, and they are winning 28-0 at this time. And there's the handoff wide right to Derek Young. He gets to the corner, but he can't get around it, and he will gain 3, but it'll be well short of the first down, and it'll bring up 4th and 7 from the 14-yard line of South Stanley.
And Franklin, see what you think about this, but I say let's kick it because you will also probably need field goals here in the.
And that's what they're
Before you
doing.
go.
They're sending Lamas in down.
So we're excited. This is going to be our first field
Yeah,
goal
this
we've
is the
seen all
first.
year. This is looks like it's going to be a 30-yard attempt by Lamas.
Maybe I think they're spotting it at the 21, so it'll be 31.
And it is up, and it is, and
He
it
got
is
it.
good.
Yeah, East Columbus. All right, Rod.
Yeah, we have waited.
Took us 12 games.
We have
but
waited
got
12
one.
games, but we finally saw a field goal kicked. All right. 1 minute and 12 seconds left here in the second quarter. East Columbus has now taken a 31-0 lead over South Stanley Rowdy Rebel Bulls. And there's time for one more.
As a former offensive lineman, I'd like to say, of course, the offensive line of East Columbus is having a really good game, but I've been impressed, all the games we've covered, how well Philip Andrews has played and how important that center position is in this shotgun pistol offense. Every time his snaps are in a consistent place, and that allows for Ratliff to keep his focus downfield. Philip Andrews, I just want to say number 50. The game in and game out has played very well at center.
And does he do the short and the long snaps?
I don't know.
Because you don't, I mean, when they're in those punts and even the guns, you don't see a lot of off snaps. So that kickoff's going to be fielded by number 4.
Yeah, it's Montrell Brewer.
And he's going to take it back to the 34-yard line of South Stanley, and that's where they are going to take over with 1 minute and 7 seconds here in the second quarter. They are trailing the Gators 31-0.
East Columbus in control.
It's 21-14, East Bladen over Eastern Randolph, still late in the second quarter.
That's a tight matchup up there in Elizabethtown. So let's see what South Stanley does. They're going to stay in this gun. They're going to have 2 receivers both sides and use 44 to block, and pressure's on, and he is sacked.
Elijah Gresham with the sack.
What a sack on that, and that takes it ball back to the 26-yard line of South Stanley. Good sack on the play. Second down. They're going to still stay there in the gun. Clock is under 1 minute, and they'll get this one off and maybe one. I don't know if they'll get another one off. And there's
Got
a flag
here. That was interesting. It would have to have been a delay. It was a delay? Oh, no, kids. That was
Substitution violation again.
So that's going
No wonder the defense is so effective, guys. They're playing with 12, and they just caught them that time.
Has it been that way all night? That's the question.
It looks like they've been playing with 15 on both sides of the ball.
South Stanley, I think they've got about 30 out there.
So that penalty moves it right about the original line of scrimmage. Long 10, short 11, and it's second down, and the snap is off. And Weicker just threw it through the hands of number 8, Johnson, and that's going to bring up third down with 17.6 seconds left here in the second quarter. South Stanley has the ball on the 31-yard line, their own 31, and they trail 31-0. So this should be it for the second quarter. And as long as we have no penalty, we can go to the locker room and get ready for the third quarter. So in the gun, Weicker is. He's got 44 blocking, 2 split wide, right and left. He's going to roll out to his
looks
left.
like he's trying to throw it deep here.
And, right off the chest of number 1, Devontae Hamilton, and still going to leave a little bit of time. So that's fourth down again. So once again, East Columbus is successful on stopping third down.
This is an interesting situation here because this is 4th down and there's 12 seconds left, and the last thing you want to do is give East Columbus the football back on the 30-yard line. So I'm assuming they're going to try
it from there.
I'm assuming they're going to try to punt, but let's. They're coming out in their spread formation, so.
I think they figure at this point, guys, why not go for it? You know,
why not?
I guess so.
And
they're going to call their last.
They're going to talk it over.
They're going to take their last time out of the
I think
half.
that's a smart move.
Yeah, this is where you look on page 40 of the playbook and see what you haven't run since August. I remember one time we were in a similar situation, and the game was really tight, and the old hook and ladder, with a wide receiver catching it and lateraling it, but you do have to think about this, and I'm thinking if I'm East Columbus with 12 seconds left, I know it's a big lead, but you still there's a lot of football left to play, and you don't want them going into halftime with any positive momentum whatsoever. So I'm putting at least 2 back about 20 yards deep in the defensive backfield, just so that anything that is thrown or any trick plays is going to happen in front of those 2.
Now, I don't know if Weicker does or can, but now it's not. We have seen before where quarterback will take it and then rugby-style punt it and run the clock out. And
I've got an update from Albemarle. 30 seconds to go in the first half. It's Albemarle 10, Union Academy 0.
Which is a bit of a surprise to us.
That it's that close, yeah.
So it's going to be snapped, and he's going to throw. He's got
gonna get pressure.
And it is almost intercepted. Was that Rouse or No, that's Mac Jenkins, number 10.
That was actually Isaiah Day applying the pressure there.
So right through the hands of Mac Jenkins. There's 7.3 seconds left, and East Columbus has the ball on their 31-yard line. I'd kick a 48-yarder. I'd let Lamas have at it. But I don't think they agree with me.
Yeah, it looks like we might be seeing the victory formation here. East Columbus in the T. We haven't seen the T from East Columbus much this year.
And that'll run it out. So one half of football is over here at the Swamp. East Columbus has a 31-0 lead over South Stanley at the break. So what do you think, Kelly?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not at all surprised from what we've seen from East Columbus, not only on offense, and a lot of focus is on their offense, and as it should be, but their defense has played consistent. They've played about as well as you could really hope for at this point, and we've seen them do the same thing against St. Paul's. We've seen them do really the same thing against every team they played, maybe with the exception of Red Springs that we've covered. So this is basically where I thought that they would be. I didn't think the score would be quite this high, and I thought with some of what South Stanley's done in the past, maybe it being a little more on their side as far as scoring goes, but let's be honest, this is what East Columbus has done all year long.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at some numbers here in the over the last 4 games, and 208-30, not counting tonight, has been the score of East Columbus over their opponents the last 4 weeks.
That's 208-30. I mean, that is a remarkable run. And as we see here in the second half, as we get the second half going, it is important for East Columbus to come out strong. They'll be getting the football. It's important for them to take it and score right away, because at this point what you're wanting to do is try to do everything right. You want to try to do special teams right. You want to try to be perfect on both sides of the football, and I'm sure that's what the coaches are talking about, is that, let's not worry so much about the score right now. Let's worry about how good of a football team we can be. And with East Columbus, I'm telling you, I don't know that there's a limit.
I'm really starting to wonder. Still got my fingers crossed that Union Academy is going to pull a comeback here in the next 24 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Don't cross your fingers, but don't hold your breath. Okay.
Yeah, if you've got anything else you can cross, you better cross your arms, cross your legs. Albemarle's had a great season, but so has East Columbus.
They and Union. Now this game may end up 50-0 before it's over, But, Union Academy has proven that they can be held, to a low point total. They're at home, and they've only been able to put 10 points on the board in the first quarter or the first half. So, that shows that they're, that they're human, that it can, be different. And as the pressure goes in, that conference, I don't know anything about them. That conference they may all be top-notch teams out of that. But East is playing at a high level, and I really look forward to
the number 2 team, North Rowan, out of the Yadkin Valley Conference, was actually eliminated by the number 4 team, East Montgomery, in the first round of the playoffs.
And South Stanley actually beat East Montgomery 30-6.
Exactly.
Earlier in the year. Franklin, you have any thoughts here as we heading into halftime?
I think Coach Cassell's going to have a hard time finding something to get on his players about because they've come out and been other. He does have one thing. He's got to make sure, and it might be a coach he needs to get on, but they've had 12 men on the field and gotten a couple of penalties for that.
They have.
But other than that. You couldn't have drawn up a first half of football much better than what the Gators have played.
Yeah.
Everything about that's been written about their aggressiveness and their speed and their hard-hittingness. I know that's not a word, but I'm going to make up a word to use here.
It is now,
is true and very impressive. And I think it's just a matter of the mindset of this football team. They did have one turnover, but as you said, they turned it right back over, forced a turnover back, and ever since then it's been Katie bar the door.
Yeah,
I just hate that Ratliff had to take a knee and hurt their yards per carry there on the last play of the half.
Well, I wanted a field goal.
You wanted to line up from 50, right?
I did. I watched. You and I was it last week. I mean, you and I watched him kicking them from the 30, and they were going, and they weren't a whole lot. They were a little farther, but I mean, I'd at least like to seen him gone for it. But yeah, it's East Columbus has got a lot to be proud of in their first half, and they need to come out with that same intensity in the second half and play that hard, because if they're able to hold on to this lead, it's going to take 48 minutes of the best football they've ever played to compete next week. And if they want to come out with a win, and that game holds the way it is, and if it doesn't hold what it is, if Union Academy pulls this upset, they're another force that needs to be reckoned with, and that's what they're going to need. This needs to be an intro into next week, so they don't need to come out and you take some of your starters out down the road if it continues to stay that way. That's one thing, but you need to play with that high level that we just saw these last 24 minutes, because that defense was pumped and they were playing hard. That offense, they were playing hard, they were pumped, and it was exciting. I love those big touchdown runs. But it'll be, like I said, it'll be very, very interesting to see what we see, and East has to be proud out of what they've had so far. So, Franklin, you might be able to help. I guess it's the number of teams, but how can a team 50 miles from the coast be in the Western Conference?
It's just it's longitudinal, and if you South Columbus and the 2A has ended up in the Western bracket sometimes as well. If you look at the map of North Carolina, there is a lot of North Carolina that is farther east than we are down here in Columbus County when you look up at the northeastern part of the state. And also too, it's there's just the situation of a lot of 1A schools also are up in the northeastern part of the state as well, and that's what pushes the Gators into the West. I'm just thankful that we made it in small 1A this year. I think that was a big break rather than being in the 1AA.
So in years past, East has played in the 1AA?
East has been one of the smallest schools in the 1AA, and now we're the big fish in the pond in the 1A this time. I think the cutoff point actually took place that East was the first school that got into the 1A portion versus being the last school that got into the 1AA.
Is it, and I think I understood what you said earlier, they take the number of teams and they split it, or is there an actual enrollment split split?
No, they find the 64 teams that qualify in each division, and then once they do that, then they take the enrollment with the 32 largest going AA and the next 32 going single A.
Yeah, that's that's an unfortunate spot to end up, is that smallest school in the 1 AA
exactly
division.
But it worked out this year, and I really think that the Gators though would have made some noise in the 1 AA. However, this bracket worked out pretty nicely because James Keenan could have been their second round opponent if they had been in the 1 AA playoffs, and I don't know if that's somebody that is even as well as East Columbus is playing this year. I don't know. It'd been an interesting matchup, and still, I think this is the better road for the Gators this year.
I haven't seen them play. I haven't even seen the highlights of them, but I know in years past they're tough.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I saw them play the Gators in a driving rainstorm last year, and it was over before it started. So, did we have an abbreviated halftime? Because I see the clock's already down under 2 minutes.
I believe so.
I think so.
But while we've got a little break here in the conversation, I want to remind everybody tomorrow is the big Cub Scout food drive. So those of you that have Scout troops in your area, be sure to leave your canned food out on the front porch, and the Scouts will be coming around picking it up tomorrow. I know we'll be busy in Tabor City tomorrow trying to get some food for the needy. So all you got to do is leave it on the front porch, and we do ask that you lock up your dogs. That would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be nice.
At the half, it's East Bladen 21, Eastern Randolph 20.
That one's going to come down to the end, maybe.
Close.
Have you heard Pender?
I have not heard a Pender score myself.
I've got a Pender score here. We got Red Springs 20, Pender 6.
And I don't know if I gave you the South Columbus, South Granville, South Columbus 14, South Granville 6 at halftime.
He's got a concussion. Because the last time they hit him, he started our sideline and told the boys had to take him back over there.
All right, so we've got about 40 seconds left here in the half, and we've got actually South Stanley's stretching. We're waiting for East Columbus to come back out onto the field. And I imagine it's a tale of two locker rooms during halftime. And I think if you're South Stanley, and I have been in this position as a coach a lot, but also as a player, you don't start looking at the scoreboard really in the second half. You start playing good football, and you try to get a little momentum. And if you get a little momentum, and as talented as they are, stranger things have happened than coming back from 31 points down. But, in that locker room, I'm sure it was a lot of conversations. And let's not forget, during the playoffs, you have all of these seniors, and they're looking at the last game, the loser at the last game that these young men will ever put the pads on. And when it was the last game for me, one of my coaches said, I remember this, and you'll never forget what it's like. You won't forget what the locker room looks like. You'll remember everything about this moment. And he's right. And for one team tonight, it's the end of a lot of careers and young men going on to college and work, and it'll be a little sad for whichever team loses this game, because the seniors, this is the last time for them they will ever take the field. And for most of these young men, football has been a very important part of their lives, and it's difficult to leave it behind.
Right.
Guys, I got a few statistics for you if you'd like them.
Absolutely.
East Columbus, 199 yards rushing in the first half. Manning with 149 of those. Ratliff with 20. Britton Spalding with 10 on one carry, and they've held McClure to 20 yards on 6 carries, but that focus on him has helped open up Manning's running.
Absolutely.
Ratliff 2 of 3, throwing the football for 30 yards and 1 touchdown, a 26-yard pass to Gresham. For South Stanley, and this is, you're not going to believe it when I say it, but they have minus 5 yards rushing for the first half.
Wow.
And they're 5 of 14 passing, 2 interceptions, and a total of 30 yards passing. So 25 yards of total offense for the Rowdy Rebel Bulls in the first half. The Gators, 229 yards of total offense.
And Franklin, they had one back that was over 1,500 yards for the year, correct?
Yeah, the tailback, Devontae Hamilton, actually came in at 1479. He was averaging 10.1 yards per carry, and in the first half on 5 carries, he's got -6 yards.
So I think that underscores what we have been seeing up here, which is a dominating defensive performance by East Columbus.
And you know, and I wanted to add this. When people talk about team speed, a lot of times you think of the backs. One of the things that East Columbus has going for them is their down linemen, their front 4, front 5 are extremely quick as well. So they pursue, if the ball carrier doesn't hit that gap quickly, if he bellies it to the outside at all, you're going to get plenty of pursuit from the Gator interior lineman, and it's just a total team speed thing, not just speed from the positions that you normally think about when you talk about team speed.
And I think it's, as the game wears on, what we're seeing is that the offensive line of South Stanley is being overwhelmed by the front defenders for East Columbus. And I've noticed, I've been looking here at some of the South Stanley linemen, and they're actually pretty small, in comparison to what you usually see. So, all right, so we're getting ready to start the second half here with the Gators receiving the football, leading 31-0 right here at the beginning of the third quarter. So what do you expect to see here in the second half, Franklin?
I think you'll see East Columbus be pretty vanilla with their running game, but that's what they do best. So that doesn't mean that the scoring is going to let up any at all. The plays that they scored on in the first half were, standard running plays. So I don't see any let up at this point in time anyway.
All right, we're ready to go. Greg Melvin back deep to receive for East Columbus. Bernardo Grandas. And it's an onside kick.
And is it loose?
It looks like South Stanley may have gotten it.
That's an interesting way to start off the third quarter.
Shows that South Stanley certainly hasn't thrown in the towel yet.
And it's East Columbus football. So, but to credit, and I did not see who was on the front line for East Columbus on that side, but it was not a complete surprise.
Manuel Figueroa was the young man that recovered that onside kick.
And East Columbus had not, a lot of times you'll see the front line for the kickoff receiving team go ahead and basically start backpedaling, but they were obviously ready for the onside kick, or it certainly was a possibility to them.
So Ratliff's going to stay in the gun, McClure and Manning in the backfield. 1st and 10 from their own 49, and McClure is going to get this one as he's going to his right, turns the corner, and he does to the 45, 40, 35, 30, hits 25, and he is out of bounds. Number 9, Austin Smith, forces him out, but not before Nick McClure can deliver him a hit.
And Taryn Manning helped spring him free with a block out of the backfield.
So that one made it to the 27. So roughly a 24.
Yep.
All right.
10th first down of the game for East Columbus. South Stanley with just 2.
So 11 minutes and 45 seconds. East Columbus got the ball kicked to them. Onside kick right after the start of the third quarter, recovered. And now they're marching down with Ratliff in the gun, 2-back set. And this one's going to go to Manning up the middle. And he's on his feet, jumps one. There he goes. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Taryn Manning, number 3. And it is 37-0 here in the Swamp. East Columbus is on a roll.
Taryn Manning's having a great night.
He is having
not
an
only
awesome
running
night.
the football, but he's doing a lot of things right away from the ball.
He blocking, he is running. It is unbelievable. Those are those nights. This time of year especially, you want to have them games, but to have it in a playoff, it is something you're not going to forget. So here comes Lamas out for the extra point. The snap's low, but it's down, and it is good. So 38-0 here in the third quarter. East Columbus leads South Stanley at the 11-minute and 37-second mark.
And one thing to point out about Manning, and I think this is the 5th East Columbus game we've covered. We've seen him develop. Of course, he's just a sophomore. but we've seen him develop, into a really, really good football player, almost in front of our eyes.
In the first game or two that we covered here, at least the first game, he still was recovering from that accident he was in right about the beginning of the season. So we saw Derek Young quarterback against East Bladen and possibly Whiteville.
And I'll echo what Franklin said earlier, and I think it's a factor in this game especially, is the focus on Nick McClure because of his past success has really created opportunities out of that counter.
Yes.
For Taryn Manning.
He
Again,
is
some good blocks up front. Let's not forget offensive line having a good night too.
He may easily hit 200 before the night's over. And Lamas is going to send that one back deep, and that's going to be caught by number 4.
It's Montreal
Brewer.
Brewer.
And he's going to make it up to the 32-yard line of South Stanley, and that's where they'll take over on their first drive of the third quarter. They are trailing East Columbus 38-0 with 11 minutes and 32 seconds left here in the third quarter. So what do you think? Gun? Run? What are we going to see from South Stanley here?
If the last part of the first half's any indication, they're going to throw the football all over the place unless they're trying to let the clock run to go home.
Well, here comes number 2, Russ Weicker, back up under center with number 44 in the backfield. And he's going to do a quick...
That's a lateral.
And is that live? And he's
That's
picked it
lateral.
up.
God, that looked like a lateral from here. Could you see from where you were, Franklin?
Yeah, good call, guys. He threw the ball backwards. That should have been a live football and picked up for a Gator touchdown because who's that, Jenkins on the far side?
Right.
Picked that up on the hop and was on his way. But the official on the far side immediately called incomplete pass.
So that's going to bring up second down and 10. They're in the same set, and that's going to give him to number 44, and he's going to get 1.5 on the play. So once again, South Stanley finds himself in third down situation. It'll be 3rd and 8.
That's a great job there by Jeremy Rouse, hitting Smith right as he got the football. And we've called Jeremy Rouse's name several times tonight, having a great game on the defensive side of the football.
Here comes the gun with under 11 minutes here in the third quarter, 3rd down and 8. Weicker finds himself back. He's got number 44 back, Anthony Smith back blocking, and as he spreads everybody else out, takes the snap, looks, going to go to his right, and it is going to be almost intercepted by number 7, Greg Melvin.
Yeah, it was intended for Jawan Johnson, and that ball was way high.
I don't know if the route got cut off or if it slipped out of his hands.
Yeah, because he had him open there for just a split second, but would have had to have thrown it in front there. So it needed to be really...
Looks like they're going for it, guys.
On 4th down?
So East is perfect tonight on 4th downs and have only allowed 1 third down conversion this whole night. So let's see what happens here. Weicker gets back in the gun with Anthony Smith blocking for him. Everybody else spread out. He's once again going to look that side, and this one is going to be completed to number 8, Johnson, and that is going to be enough to move the chains. So on their 3rd, 4th down of the night, South Stanley is able to convert one, and they've got a new set of downs with 10 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the third quarter. They are trailing East Columbus by a score of 38-0.
And Jeremy Rouse was on the blitz that time and almost got to Russ Weicker.
He had his hands on him, but just a little bit late. So here comes a quick substitution. Weicker's going to stay in the gun. Anthony Smith's going to block. Everybody else split out. Once again, he's going to that right side and
almost intercepted.
That's
I thought Greg Melvin was going to get to that one.
That was number 9 through the hands of Austin Smith, and East Columbus also had a good shot at that one. So 2nd and 10.
So we've seen South Stanley in the passing game now trying to hit some quick slants, and I'd really, at this point, you'd have to think they're going to have to take a few shots downfield.
So 2nd down and 2nd and 10. Back in the gun. Once again, looks to the... Oh, and what a hit. Number 9, he's got it, though, and he's on his feet to the 30 and down there at the 26-yard line. He's brought down, but...
Yeah, Elijah Gresham applying the heat, but Russ Weicker able to complete the pass. So
he paid for that one. But that was a great pass. Austin Smith caught that on the run, and he was able to... That's probably the biggest play up. That is the biggest play of the night for...
Yeah, 25-yard gain is their longest gain of the evening.
So they're going to stay in the gun setup. They have now got the ball to the 25-yard line of East Columbus. They're going to stay in the gun, 4 men out. and he looks it over, takes the snap, and it's going over the middle and through the hands of number 18, Connor Ford. So
A little bit behind Ford that time, but he got his hands on it. Probably should have made the catch.
And we've got a Gator timeout.
So East Columbus is going to take a minute. This is the most South Stanley has moved on him. We're at 9 minutes and 53 seconds here in the third quarter. East Columbus holds on to a 38-0 lead, but South Stanley has the ball on the 25-yard line, the 27-yard line of East Columbus, and they are in a 2nd down and 10. So a little more success in moving the ball in their first possession this time than really in the first half overall.
And I think that timeout was about trying to get the defense back on track.
So
I agree. You don't want bad habits.
Right. And the further you go in these playoffs, the more perfect you have to be.
So here comes South Stanley back out on the field.
And somebody you play in the future is going to see the success they've had throwing the football here and try to use that against them.
So we're going to see Weicker still in the gun. Anthony Smith still going to block and protect, and he's still got 4 spread out, 2 on each side. He looks, takes the snap. It's a low snap. The ball's down, and he's going to end up paying for that one. So that snap's going to cost him, and he is going to be sacked on the 35-yard line by 2 Gators.
Henry Baldwin was the first one there, and it goes back to the point earlier about Philip Andrews for East Columbus. If you're going to run the pistol, if you're going to be in this spread shotgun offense, you better have a center that can put it in the right place every single time.
I think part of the East Columbus adjustment, too, was to blitz because Baldwin, coming from his linebacker spot that time, put more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't think even with some help out of the backfield, I don't know that this front 5 for South Stanley is going to be able to stop the front line of East Columbus.
So here we go, 3rd down and long. In the gun is Weicker. He's going to take the snap, and here comes number 15, Jeremy Rouse. Good hit, and
that's touchdown.
The ball
for
is
South
still
Stanley.
Through. We have a touchdown, and I'm not sure
That's
Weicker.
Juwan Johnson and Russ Weicker.
I'm not sure.
He stood in there, threw the football, and that's a touchdown to Juwan Johnson. So hats off there to Russ Weicker, standing in there with all sorts of pressure and making a really good throw. And it looked like the defender for East Columbus may have slipped. I didn't see all of it. And I think Russ Weicker is hurt, and I'm sure where he got hit was right under the ribs. I mean, I'm sure he's got the breath knocked out of him.
He has taken some hard hits this quarter, and that one took its toll on him. I think that one took the breath right out of him. So good catch and good touchdown. So at 8 minutes and 55 seconds here in the third quarter, the score is now 38-6. East Columbus leading South Stanley, and South Stanley will put the ball down, and number 3, Grandas, will go for the extra point to bring it within 31 points. And the kick is up, and it is good. So 38-7 here at 8 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third quarter. East Columbus will now get the ball for their second attempt of the third quarter. So, yeah, I don't know who, but the defense was on that play. I mean, he got a little bit higher up in the air and was able to come down with it.
They got some air underneath it, and I think the defender might have slipped. But either way, going back to the point that Franklin made, this could be an issue. I mean, if they're moving the football, I mean, they're still well behind, but, you have to think about next week.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to show any weaknesses that other teams can exploit. And that time, South Stanley moved the football very well throwing it. And even the type of pressure that East Columbus is getting on the quarterback, that pressure is not going to be as easy, I think, as you go forward in these playoffs. So
right.
Score from South Columbus, guys, it's 21 for South Columbus, South Granville 6, 5:47 to go into third quarter.
Another onside
There's
kick.
Another onside, and that was number 14.
That was recovered by South Stanley.
So right through, Juwan Johnson goes through, and he is able to come up. He's able to come up with it. So
South Stanley now with the momentum trailing 38-7, but a successful onside kick. That's the second one in a row that they have attempted, including the opening kickoff of the second half, which was unsuccessful. But they have the football on the Gator 44-yard line and having some success throwing the football.
And we're going to see Luke Burris. We're not going to see Russ Weicker, if I'm reading that number right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Weicker still not had time to recover from that last hit he took, and we're going to see the backup quarterback come in as South Stanley has the ball on the East Columbus 43-yard line, first and 10 after recovering an onside. And here comes number 44, Anthony Smith, and he is through for good 6, if not 7. So that'll be second down.
And they're taking a look at Weicker over there on the sideline. He is not standing at this point.
So let's see what we get here. We get second down and roughly 4. Number 6, Luke Burris, is now into the game. He has the ball on the 38-yard line of East Columbus. He's going to run a 2-back set, and that's going to be his own, and he's going to be hitting the backfield for a loss of at least 1, if not 2. And that's going to bring up third down again for South Stanley with 8 minutes here in the third quarter.
Henry Baldwin on the tackle.
So they are trailing 38-7, but they have the ball on East Columbus's 38, and he may have made it right back close to the line of scrimmage. And he's got it's a long 3, if not 4. So let's see what they dial up here with number 6, Luke Burris, in as quarterback. Going to have a 2-back set, 1 split right, 2 split right, 1 split left. The ball's hiked. He's going to drop back and pass. Over the middle, number 14, Juwan
Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
Caught for a first down.
And that takes it to the 16-yard line, and that's the second. I think that's only the second third down that they have converted tonight.
Once again, South Stanley moving the football.
It's that pass.
Throwing and coming out this time in a spread right, spread left formation. One back in the backfield.
Now we'll see the gun here. Over the middle, and that one is good for
looks like a score.
6. And that was Russ Weicker come back in, wasn't it? That's Weicker walking off there.
It was Weicker.
All right, so East real quickly, 2-3 minutes, it's 13 straight points put on the board by South Stanley, and now they will bring in the extra point. With 7 minutes and 9 seconds left, we've seen 2 quick scores.
Looks like they might be going for 2 here.
See what the setup is, and Weicker is in, so looking for a 2-point conversion to try to make
right,
it 15.
Split left, 1 back in the backfield here, and you got to think they're going to try to hit the slant to the flanker of the slot on the right side.
It's a low
snap.
And it is no good.
Well defended there by Derek Young.
Very good defense. So at the 7 minute and 9 point here in the third quarter, that's what's remaining. 38-13, the Gators have the lead, and they will await the kickoff. So we've seen 2 onside kicks. We've seen the Gators drop both of them, recover 1 and lose the second. Will we see a third one?
You've done it twice, and you've been successful once. I think, as long of a shot as it is South Stanley getting back in the football game, their only chance is to keep the offense of East Columbus off the field as long as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I think you're going to see some different personnel up front for East Columbus on this kickoff as well.
Yeah, already we're seeing Marquise King up front, as well as
Gresham.
And we've also got Ryan Howard up front. So you're not seeing the beef that you usually have up there.
Guys, East Rutherford's leading East Bladen 27-21 middle of the third quarter now. Eastern Randolph, thank you.
See, these west-east things got you all mixed up.
Yeah, there's so many east and west going on.
So let's see.
Okay, this is deep now.
They're going to drive that one back, and backpedaling is East Columbus, and it's taken about their 10, and on the middle it goes to the 28-yard line, and that was brought back by number 36, Brandon Freeman, almost right about a 26-yard run back.
They're very interesting, kind of set up like an onside kick, but kick it deep.
And maybe you can answer this one, Kelly, but on those onside, when you see it coming, why not charge the ball and take it and run with it?
Well, you can't advance the onside kick. So in other words, if you were to grab it, the ball is dead at that point if it has not gone 10 yards. Am I correct on that, Franklin?
Well, the offensive team actually, the kick receiving team could come up and take the football at any point they wanted to. But usually what you have happening is you have your offensive lineman up front there that you don't want handling the football when it's a surprise. And then secondly, you're closing the distance pretty fast between you and the kickoff team, and as soon as you make contact with it, they're allowed to plow into you. So it's kind of an iffy situation if you attack the football like that, especially with it bouncing crazily on the ground.
And I knew that bounce would be, but, you know, I guess in a way you're not expecting somebody to – I mean, if somebody took it and hit you, you may catch them off balance. Here comes Nick McClure on a handoff, and he's on the run to the 50, 45, 40, 35-yard line, all the way down past the 31-yard line. Big run by Nick McClure on first down. We've seen him run a little bit, but nothing like that, and now he's getting cranked up.
43-yard carry.
So good run there by Nick McClure. With
2 carries this half for 67 yards for McClure, guys.
So this is going to be Manning had the first half. McClure may dominate the second half. We'll see. Ratliff under at the gun. He's got a first down, and it's going to be handed off to number 4. That's Derek Young. Number 8. Now the 4. Yeah, I need the binoculars. Now the 4s look like 8s. I haven't seen Derek Young in that position all season.
We've seen him just about everywhere,
position. Yeah. So 6.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. East Columbus holding on to a 38-13 lead. It is now second down, and Ratliff in the gun with Derek Young in motion. Now Derek Young gets the pitch, and he's on his feet. Cuts it back right, and he's still going. Back up to – he's headed to the middle, but he is wrapped up. But not before he can advance the ball to the 17-yard line of South Stanley.
Guys, that's actually goes down as a completed pass, because if you notice when Ratliff got the ball, he actually tossed it forward for Young to take.
Right. Which is always a good idea in case he drops it. It's not a fumble.
Exactly.
All right, so Ratliff in the gun with a first down and 10. 2-back set. Here comes Young in motion again and fakes
that
it.
time.
And this time McClure is – they're going to get to him in the backfield, and a flag is thrown.
Maybe looking at a hold there.
They're calling face mask.
Face mask?
Well, that's what East Columbus is calling. Let's see what the refs call it.
Yep.
Personal foul, face mask against outstanding.
That's a big play. That's going to move them down inside. It looks like the 5-yard line.
Personal should be half the distance, so from the 17 should spot the football at it was from where the tackle was made at approximately the 19, so the ball will be at the 9.5-yard line.
It is so nice having a math person to try to reel us in our estimations. We usually try to get it within 20 or 30 yards here.
That's right. As long as we keep it within that, we're good.
We're good.
So we're going to have first down again. Ratliff's going to stay in the gun with Manning and McClure back with him. And this one's going to go to McClure, and he's going up the middle, working his way toward the end zone, and all the way down to the 4-yard line for second down. So second and goal with 5 minutes, just under 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
We've got first and goal now.
We got first.
Yep.
Did that? Okay, so they made it.
First and goal from the 5 for the Gators.
Okay, so first and goal from the 5. We got 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. East up 38-13, and 5 yards away from putting another score on the board.
Ratliff under center.
I don't know who has that one.
I
see Taryn Manning.
Touchdown
Gators. It's hard to see when they get down in that tight formation. So just under 5 minutes, the score is now East Columbus 44, South Stanley 13, and here comes Lamas is out, and they will go for 1 to make it a 45-13 game if he is good. So he is marking off to get to his spot as Young is ready. Young calls for the snap. It's up, it's down, and it is through. 45-13, East Columbus now leads South Stanley.
So the play before this, and it's really more intricacy that we've seen, at this point from East Columbus. So they fake the jet sweep.
Mm-hmm.
They fake the handoff to Nick McClure, and then hand off to Taryn Manning. And I'm telling you, just watching it here, it's hard to keep up with.
It is.
And we've seen that sort of play develop as the year goes on, but they're doing it very well. And, again, starting to get very good with the fakes and the misdirection. And, honestly, South Stanley has never adjusted to the counter tonight.
No, they have not. We've seen 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, 1 field goal, and East is just able on offense just to mix it up and keep South Stanley back on their heels, and it's working for them. So Lomas is going to get ready. He has just set the ball down on his own 40, and he is getting ready to kick off as South Stanley has 2 deep, number 4, Montrell Brewer, and number 18, Connor Ford. And we've seen a variety of kicks from Lamas. Let's see what we get. This is going to be a medium height, and that's going to be taken up at the 25 by number 9, Austin Smith. And he's going to be hit down hard at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like Isaiah Day there on the hit.
So South Stanley will come back out. I'm pretty sure we will see number 2, and yes, we do. Russ Weicker, here he comes back out.
Check that. That was Brandon Freeman. That need to use the binoculars on that one.
Yeah, by this time of the night, the numbers start changing.
The plexiglass starts to fog up a little bit, too.
So we'll see. We will see the gun. I thought they might.
All right.
So Weicher's getting his men where he wants them.
He's got spread left, split right, with 2 backs in the backfield this time.
Looks, takes the snap, and it's a low one, but he recovers, and number 9, Austin Smith, loses his footing, and he goes down on the 36-yard line.
Yeah, good job there by Jalen Dumas and also Caleb Edgell.
So that's going to be a loss of 3 on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 13 with just right about 4.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. South Stanley has the ball, and East Columbus has the lead. Reicher's in the gun. 1 back set. Rail spread out, looks right, looks left, going to go right. It's a wobbly, but the receiver comes back to it, and it just took too much time in developing. Mac Jenkins
was way
there.
Underthrown, and then by that time, Mac Jenkins had time to recover, come back and make a play on the football. Good play by Jenkins.
Roughing the passer against the Gators guys.
Missed that one.
Yeah, so that's going to be a
15-yarder.
First down. Automatic first down, and more importantly, moves the ball down the field.
So that's a big play there, and now South Stanley will have the ball on the 49-yard line of East Columbus with a fresh set of downs and just 10 ticks above 4 minutes left here in the third quarter. They are trailing 45-13. So Weicher's going to stay in the gun. He's going to have a 1 back set, spread everybody else 2 left, 1 right, takes the snap, looks right, and goes to number 9, Austin Smith, and Austin Smith will be taken out of bounds at the 45-yard line of East Columbus for a 4-yard gain. And
there's going to be a late hit on the play, but I've got to think that it just was not very flagrant. At least I'm assuming.
I didn't see it. I mean, he was in the process of tackling him in bounds.
Maybe it's something else, but you have to think as late as it was. Yeah, personal foul.
This is a killer right here.
And basically what happened was, and I didn't get the number, but the player was more or less slung out of bounds, but it was right on the sideline. So it's one of those judgment calls, and, of course, we don't have the best view of it.
Right. So that's going to take the ball all the way down to the 31-yard line of East Columbus. South Stanley's gained 30 yards on 2 personal fouls.
And I think East Columbus just took a timeout. And
yeah, I think you're right.
Well, there seems to be a little discussion here
I'm
between
not sure because
Coach Cassell and the official. Okay, no, it's not a timeout. Okay.
All right, so 3 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The ball's on the 31-yard line of East Columbus. South Stanley has it, trailing 45-13. Weiker's in the gun, drops back, looks. Now he's going to go up the middle and run, and he will be brought down on the 30 for a 1-yard gain, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Jeremy Rouse coming out of the linebacker position to make the stop there.
So we will have 2nd and 9. South Stanley has the ball. They're on the 30-yard line of East Columbus. Just about 3.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. They are trailing 45-13. Weiker looks to his 2 men split left, signals out to them, split right, 1 in the backfield, sends 1 in motion. That's number 9, takes the snap, still looks to his right. He's in the grasp, and I believe he will go down for a sack on the 38-yard line of East Columbus.
Yeah, Elijah Gresham on the initial hit, and then number 44 there, I believe that's L.J. Little.
And that'll be a loss of 8 on that one. And East Columbus has a guy slowly to get up.
Yeah, and that looks like that is number 30 there, Isaiah David. He's okay.
May have had to win knocked out.
Guys, is there a flag down something? No, no flag. Okay.
No flag. Flag waved off.
Did not see that one even come out.
50-50 tickets out.
I think it possibly could have been a lineman downfield, but since the pass never was got off, then the flag was picked up in that case.
4,
So 2nd down and 18
7,
with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. East Columbus leads 45-13, but South Stanley has the ball and is on the 38 of East Columbus. Weiker stays in the gun. Smith back to block. 2 men wide right, 2 men wide left. And he's going to drop back. This time he's looking to his left, and that one's over the middle and almost intercepted by number 22. That's Jalen Dumas.
Good coverage that time, and it looks like East Columbus is starting to make some adjustments to the passing game.
Yeah, they're starting to handle it a little bit better, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 18. So this is a big one.
You don't have an Albemarle score there.
Yeah, I
do
do. In fact, just got an update. It's still 10-0 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Wow.
Albemarle over Union Academy.
Still got a hope.
And for those of you listening at home, the winner of this game will take on Albemarle or Union Academy. And Franklin, if it is Union Academy, it would be here, correct?
That's correct.
If it is Albemarle, it'll be in Albemarle.
So
Maybe Kelly.
Hey, they just Albemarle just scored again. It's 17-0 Albemarle. 2:53 to go in the third quarter.
was there a timeout called?
Yeah, somebody called timeout, but I was going to ask you guys who it was, but
Well, we were relying on you for that.
Yeah, you've bailed us out all night. We just kind of expected it.
I was using this time to check scores, so I don't know who called the timeout.
East Bladen still trailing East Randolph.
27-27 now with the East Bladen game.
All right, so somebody called timeout, but it is coming to an end, and that's going to bring up a long 3rd down and 18. South Stanley has the ball on the 38-yard line of East Columbus, and there's 2 minutes and 13 seconds left here in the third quarter. South Stanley is trailing 45-13. So Weiker's back, 1 back set, 2 wide right, 2 wide left. He looks to his right, goes up. It's going to go deep down to the right, and it is incomplete. 2 men on him through the hands.
Nice throw by
Flag.
Wes Weiker.
And there's a flag on the play. Was the flag down by the catch, or was it back up by the line?
Probably pass interference where it was thrown.
So we will wait on
Yep,
pass interference. This has been a rough drive by East Columbus. So will the ball be moved? Was this the 3rd big foul in this?
Yeah, we've had a roughing the passer, a personal foul, and a pass interference. So 45 yards in penalties against the Gators just in this drive.
So 2 minutes and 6 seconds left here in the third quarter. East is up 45-13. South Stanley has the ball on the 21-yard line of East Columbus. Weiker's going to throws out right, and it'll be caught and taken down about the 14-yard line of East Columbus. So that'll be caught by number 9, Austin Smith.
Got South Columbus 21, South Granville 12, start of the fourth quarter.
All right, so
if East Randolph pulls it out over East Bladen, that'll be a home game for South.
That's correct.
So on the 14-yard line, 1 minute and 35 seconds left. Weiker back in the gun, and we're going to have, I'm not quite sure. I heard a whistle.
Yeah, the official's talking to the South Stanley bench about something.
I don't know if there was
It appears to be a...
yeah, this, I don't think it's a friendly conversation.
It appears to be a non-collegial conversation, to say the least.
So, this is not going to...
Okay, waiting for a discussion here with the referee and Coach Cassell from East Columbus.
So we're just kind of waiting. We got to stop and play, and we're not really sure, honestly, what's going on.
Judging from Coach Cassell's body language, it was not something favorable to East Columbus, but we'll just have to see. I'm waiting for some referee to let us know. They're looking at the clock, so it looks like they're adjusting the clock.
All right, so 1 minute and 45 seconds left here in the third quarter. It's 45-13 East Columbus. South Stanley has the ball on the 14-yard line of East Columbus, and it is second down, and play is getting ready to start. Weiker back in the gun is going to drop back. He's going to look over the middle, and it is going to be caught, and it is going to be
touchdown.
In the end zone. Number 18. Nope, not 18.
That's Connor Ford on the touchdown there.
Number 18. And now we're looking at 45-19, East Columbus over South Stanley, and we will see if they'll go for the extra point or go for 2.
I think Ford's still down after the catch, guys.
Yeah, he took a very vicious hit and still held on to the football.
And when Kelly says vicious, he doesn't mean dirty. It was just a very hard hit, trying to shake the ball loose.
Completely fair.
Yeah, it was a fair hit, just good contact.
And it's interesting the emphasis we've seen on hits on receivers in the college, but especially the pro level. There's been a huge emphasis on those big hits that we used to see back 10 years ago, and those are a lot of times cause for flags or even fines. And it was called for, really. I mean, it is, you're talking about that level, seriously injuring people, and I'm glad to see the emphasis, but it's just been remarkable this year especially how it's been a point of emphasis by the officials.
I think they put the defensive players at a real disadvantage, though, because a lot of times there's been some calls on some helmet-to-helmet contact when really the offensive player has caused the contact by ducking his head when the defender was already committed to making a low tackle. So,
and
I agree with the safety part of it, but you've also got to make the offensive player somewhat responsible for avoiding the helmet-to-helmet contact as well.
Right, and there's a huge difference between a defensive player initiating a hit with his head and then an incidental, what we call incidental contact, because of either a player moving or ducking or trying to get out of the way. So, yeah, you're exactly right. And it has to be, I think, a judgment call. I mean, every time there's helmet-to-helmet contact, there can't be a flag. Or, I think that's going to start to affect the game in a negative way, not only for the players but the fans. Looks like Ford's up and moving around.
I don't know about y'all, but this seems like the longest quarter that we've done in a while.
Yeah, especially after last week's second half was very short. This does seem like a very long quarter here. We still have a minute 38 left to go, and South Stanley for the point after touchdown here after scoring. South Stanley trailing East Columbus 45-19.
So Austin Smith is the holder, Grandis is the kicker, and he will go for 1. So he is ready. Smith calls for the snap. It's up and it's down, almost blocked, and it is through. So with 1 minute and 38 seconds left here in this third quarter, East Columbus has a 45-20 lead over South Stanley, and they will await the kickoff. And we don't know if we'll see a deep kick, an onside kick, a short kick, a line drive kick. That's one thing I've noticed this year. They love to mix up the kicking game. You may never see two in a row exactly the same. So East Columbus coaches are discussing what's going on here in the special teams, probably to get them, make sure they've got a hands team up front.
I was really kind of surprised that they went for one, Rod, because, I mean, and we're still talking about a 25-point lead, but, down by 24, that gives you 3 scores,
right?
3 touchdowns and a chance, to kind of be back in this game. So I was a little surprised to see them, chasing one when they really need to make some headway on this East Columbus lead.
So the ball's being set up on the 40-yard. South Stanley setting it up on their own.
They've got the good hands team up front. Got Gresham, and looks like that's also Ryan Howard out there. Mac Jenkins, I believe.
Yeah, so
see what happens. Onside kick or kick it deep or squib kick. The suspense is killing me.
I'd say with that hands team, you're going to go deep.
Yep. And it looks like they're shifting some players around. I see there.
Well, maybe not. Let's see.
And
they
deep.
did. And deep it went. And it's back to all the way under the 5 and up the middle. It's going and straight forward. And what a jump. Number 36, Brandon Freeman, runs it straight up the middle and tries to leap the man and almost cleared him. He got air under that one. And he is going to be brought down on the 30-yard line, and East Columbus will take over there with 1st and 10 with 1 minute and 32 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Yeah, my coach has always told me don't leave your feet because you may have to come back down on something other than them. So,
all right.
And there is a rule against hurdling in high school football. So,
yeah, would you define that as hurdling what just happened?
All right, so there's going to be a handoff, and that one's going to be Taryn Manning, and he's going nowhere on that one. No.
Who was the carrier that time, guys?
Manning.
Taryn Manning, number 8. So 2nd down and 10, no gain on actually, I guess.
Loss of 1.
Loss of 1 on that one. So 2nd down and 11. East Columbus now, the clock is ticked under 1 minute. Ratliff is in the gun.
Manning's now in motion.
And he's going to drop back to pass. He's going to throw one over the middle. And
he's
there's
got Gresham open.
Oh, there he's the 35, 30, 25, going to the side at the 20. And he is brought down at the 15-yard line, maybe even closer than that. It's the 9-yard line. It's hard to see at these angles.
Ricky Ratliff hit Elijah Gresham in stride.
But Gresham is
right down the center of the field.
Gresham is up and limping. Hopefully it's a cramp. He's trying to run it out, but
62-yard catch, guys.
62-yard Ratliff to Gresham.
Big play there, and hopefully he is not hurt. So he's coming to the sidelines, but he is limping. That was a long haul across to get off the field, and he's going to probably sit down and have him look at that. So here we go. Up under center is Ratliff, and he's going to pitch to Derek Young. Young's on his feet still at the 5, and he's trying to fight across, and he will not. So he gets a 4-yard gain, and it is 2nd and goal. And that's probably the last play of the third quarter, I would think, as we're down to about 10 seconds. I don't know. You never know. Maybe not. Ratliff goes up under center, which we hadn't seen. And no, he will get one more. Pitches out to Nick McClure.
Cuts inside.
Touchdown.
He's in. Touchdown. Nick McClure.
51-20 here at the end of the third quarter. And that'll bring out the extra point. I've just lost it.
and not to make this too dramatic, but that was a very important series for East Columbus because South Stanley had some momentum, and we're really within 3 scores. And big play, of course, the big pass play, Ratliff to Gresham.
That was an outstanding pass.
Once again, we see East Columbus with the big play.
They really got a break there, guys, because Rouse wasn't set for 1 second at that right tight end position.
On the touchdown?
Good.
On the touchdown play, Rouse Rouse was late getting over to that right tight end, and I was looking for the flag, but they didn't run in his direction. They didn't throw the flag, so it's not a penalty if they don't throw the flag, right?
That's right. So we have made it through 3/4 of play here in the Swamp. East Columbus has a 52-20 lead over South Stanley, and we await the fourth quarter as East Columbus will kick off. And 12 minutes left.
It was a difficult quarter for the Gators.
It was.
They've had some difficulty adjusting to the, I guess what we say the new strategy with South Stanley is we're going to throw the football until you stop us.
And it is, I mean, South Stanley's been able to throw for 3 touchdowns in the third quarter.
I think it's interesting. It's the same offense that East Columbus has seen pretty much in 3 different occasions.
That's what amazed me, I think, the most is it's not like they haven't been Red Springs. These guys pass the ball, but it just seems there's something that South Stanley has found that they are able to capitalize on and bring 20 points off of it.
I think part of it is the preparation this week was for a more run-oriented offense, and you didn't focus on the pass like you did against the Red Springs, and that may have been part of it, guys.
And that definitely could be.
That's a good point because that also affects the personnel you use for that week and how you use them, and that requires some adjustments by the coaches.
So Lamas kicks deep and puts back the ball to the 11-yard line, and number 6, Luke Burris, has it, and he is going to advance it up to the 31-yard line of South Stanley. So we're looking at a 1st down and 10. South Stanley has the ball, and they've been the last 3 possessions. South Stanley has put points on the board.
Guys, you can put your Union Academy hopes to rest. I think it's 24-0 Albemarle in the fourth quarter now.
Okay, so the winner of that game will face East Columbus or South Stanley.
The winner of this, yeah.
All right, so back under center we see South Stanley. And that's going to be a handoff to number 44. And
I think the back went the wrong way, or the quarterback turned the wrong way on that one because they had a little conversation before handing off football.
Yeah, there was something just off a little bit on that one, and that's going to bring up 2nd down and 10.
And I think they're just running the ball just enough to try to keep East Columbus honest.
So quickly they go back to the option. Number 44, Anthony Smith, will be in the backfield. 2 receivers both sides. There it is. He looks to his right, and that one will be good defense there by number 10.
Yeah, Mac Jenkins in perfect position.
Got a hand up and disrupted the play, and down it went. It's 3rd and 10 with 11 minutes and 17 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Said third for so long, I forgot. 52-20, East Columbus is leading South Stanley.
That was the 28th pass attempt by South Stanley tonight.
Do you know how many runs?
I can tell you in a second. Well, more than a second, actually.
So we got 3rd down and 10. Weiker's going to stay in the gun. Low snap, but he's got it. And he's got pressure, and the ball's loose. It's loose. 87, and I don't know who's got it. East Columbus had it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And we're waiting to see here.
Get a 4th down sign because South Stanley has recovered.
So Gresham was back in, so he's got that cramp out. I don't know how he didn't come up with that.
Yeah, I think as a coach you got to say, hey, it's time to get on the football.
I think he was wanting to pick. I think he was looking for 6.
It's going to bring up 4th and
30.
Let's say, 4th and about 3 miles. And interested to see here deep in their own territory what South Stanley is going to do. And it looks like they're going to go for it here. And it's going to be spread left, spread right, one back in the backfield. And I think they're going to lock and load and try to throw it downfield.
South Stanley.
Yeah, South Stanley taking a timeout. Probably a good move here because, and again, not to over-dramatize anything, but if you don't get this 1st down, most of your hope has gone out the window. Trailing now by 32 points.
That's a long 4th down.
Guys, I got to say a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to say hello to Freddie Priest listening in on 89.9 tonight. And secondly, why is Mark Council sending me updates on the East Columbus game?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks you're at the concession stand.
Well, I think Mark knows I'm here, but whatever. Anyway, thanks, Mark. I appreciate it.
So here they come back from the timeout, and it's They got a monumental task in front of them here. They have to get the ball all the way up to the 41-yard line for a first down, and the ball is on.
Looks
the
like they've
10.
decided at least to line up to punt. Now, we saw a fake punt earlier. I believe it was in the second quarter, maybe even the first quarter. So you got to think they're going to try to punt it.
So they're going to send Greg Melvin back deep just in case, and it is.
And it's a very high and short.
This might be dangerous.
Yeah, and takes East Columbus bounce, and East Columbus is going to take over on the 20-yard line.
9-yard punt.
20-yard line.
That came very close to hitting. I don't know if it was Derek Young. I mean, they didn't realize.
Yep. That's when somebody has to yell that, yeah, you've got to get out of the way. And I think when we did the Red Springs game, West Columbus, we saw Red Springs just repeatedly always around the football, even when they could see it. I mean,
it amazes me, guys, of football players this day and time's lack of knowledge about the ball being live on the punts like that.
Yeah, that was unbelievable that night. All right, so here's East taking over, and that's going to be a handoff to number 8, Taryn Manning, and he's still on his feet at the 15 to the 10, cuts back, 5, still on his feet to the 1-yard line, and there's a flag. Wait a minute.
I don't see the flag.
The flag went in the middle, but why is that referee pointing back down this way?
Yeah, there is a flag right on the goal line.
I see it.
So let's see what this is all about. It'll be first and goal.
Well, Derek Young was in that area throwing a block, but it looked from here like it was legal. Let's see what the call is.
I don't know. I only saw South Stanley players. I didn't even see in East Columbus where the flag was thrown, so I don't know where they were looking to. All right, here we go.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against South Stanley. That was a dead ball foul, so
Well,
looks like it's going to be multiple. So it's going to be
both
offsetting.
ways.
But that's dead ball. So
it's offsetting. Gators, they had the ball first and goal on the 1-yard line.
I don't understand why they're backing.
Okay. They'll mark off. Will they do the 15 and the 15?
But it was dead ball, so if it's dead ball, it should be, wipe slate clean, play counts, right?
Yeah, if it was after the play, the ball should remain spotted where it was down at the 1-yard line.
All right, so it was multiple fouls. So I don't really understand why the
So
is.
I don't know where they're exactly coming up with putting the ball at the.
went back to the original line of scrimmage, didn't it?
Yeah, so
they're spotting it at the 16.
I don't know, but
interesting call there.
Ratliff hands off to Derek Young. He goes right, and he's on his feet, and he's turning the corner, and he will not get there, but he should get down to right about the first down marker. Let's see, I think close to it. So there's 9 minutes and 42 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. East Columbus has a 52-20 lead, and they have the ball on the South Stanley 5-yard line, and it was good for a first down, so it's first and goal.
52-20, East Columbus leading and threatening to score again.
Gresham comes out, Ratliff under center, McClure in the backfield along with Young, and Young takes it up the middle, and he's going to get close and waiting on a signal.
A little bit short, right at the 1-yard line.
So the 1-yard, 4-yard gain by Derek Young, and that'll bring up second and goal from the 1 with 9 minutes and 25 seconds here in the fourth quarter. East has the ball leading 52-20. So 1 yard separating East from the end zone, and we will see Ratliff up under center. We will see McClure with 2 other backs, and that one's going to, I don't know, but it's in for a 6.
Young.
That was Young.
Touchdown, Derek Young, and it is now 58-20 East Columbus with 9 minutes and 5 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. There's a lot of scoring going on tonight.
Franklin, we've talked about this a lot as we've kind of wound down this regular season into the playoffs. At what point do you start thinking about pulling some of your starters here for next week?
I think you do as much as you can right now in this situation, defensively, offensively, for the remainder of the ball game.
So you leave all your starters in?
No, you you pull who you can.
pull who you can.
One of the things is if you're not necessarily on the first team on offense, you probably are on defense.
Right.
So you still got a starter on one side or the other side of the ball when you're doing substituting like that with the low numbers that East Columbus has.
Right.
So Lamas puts the extra point through, and at 9 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, East Columbus has a 59-20 lead. And they will kick off to South Stanley in just a few seconds actually. So we will.
My question is, when, as the coach at South Stanley, do you say, all right, guys, let's run the football, move the clock, and take it to the house?
Well, I think we're at that point now.
I think we should be at that point, but I haven't really seen anything so far to indicate that they believe that we're at that point.
Well, we'll see if Weicker, if Weicker comes back up under center, or if they put him back in the gun, or so. Yeah, it's kind of getting, and that will be handed there at the 31-yard line. It is taken, and it will be brought down at the 47-yard line. So I don't know who.
And that was number 31, Ryan Coley, for South Stanley, making a good catch. I mean, you don't always see linebackers catching the ball that well, so kudos to him. I think one of the things that you have to consider, too, is that especially you look at Russ Weicker. I mean, it's his last game. You have a lot of seniors on this team, and, that may factor into, what they're doing. Of course, they're throwing the football again.
And that'll go over the head there of number 23, Jordan Starnes. We'll have a 2nd and 10. So, Franklin, I think you just got the answer to the question. Not yet.
Yep. Yeah, we're still throwing the football. And
well, I guess Weicker can be getting his arm loose for baseball season. He's a top pitcher for South Stanley's baseball team.
Well, he's getting a good workout tonight. He's well over 30 attempts.
Yeah, he is now.
All right, so
how many completions, Franklin, do you have?
I'll get you in just a second.
2nd and 10. Weicker drops back over the middle. Nice defense there by number 7, Greg Melvin.
Greg Melvin
broke up the play.
Made the hit.
And it's 3rd and 10 from the 46-yard line of East Columbus. South Stanley has it, trailing 59-20 with 8 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. So Weicker's looking to the sideline. He's going to stay in the gun.
13 of 30 now after that throw.
And he's going to take it. Here comes 31. And he's hit, and that one's going to go well over, and that'll bring up 4th and 10.
That's another thing that concerns, but you're subjecting your quarterback to an all-out rush like that, and like I said, I just don't know at this point in the ball game whether it's really worth dropping back and continuing to throw the football.
And Jalen Dumas on that play brought the pressure, knocking down Russ Weicker.
And he has taken some hard hits in the second half especially.
We're spread left, spread right. Shotgun formation here on 4th down.
So he's going to drop. He's going to his left, and it's almost picked off by number 4, Derek Young.
Yeah, Derek Young had nothing but green grass, greenish-brown grass out in front of him.
I'm afraid he saw the end zone before he got his hands on that ball.
I'm really surprised.
Got a personal foul roughing the passer on that play, so it's going to be a 1st down.
I'm really surprised that we haven't seen South Stanley try a little more screen action, a little more misdirection with their passing game, especially as aggressive as the front line of East Columbus has been. But basically their passing game has stayed in that, either that 10-yard square out in the flats, or they've taken shots, deep down the field. But anytime you've got an aggressive defense like East Columbus, you got to think about trying to throw the screen, especially to that big Anthony Smith.
So that's going to move the ball all the way down to East Columbus's 36. Fresh set of downs, and sack down goes number 2, Russ Weicker.
Actually, that was Burris back in there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Quarterback was Burris.
So they have switched out, and he goes down at the 46 for a loss of almost 10. And that's a long 2nd down now. 2nd and close to 20 just about 8 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. South Stanley has the ball on the East Columbus side at the 45, but they are trailing 59-20. And they have switched back to Luke Burris at quarterback. He's got two split each direction with Smith back blocking, and they're going to put him on the run. He's going to roll to his left, and out of bounds he goes.
Yeah, Josh Patrick flushed him out of the pocket.
So he gets closer to the original line of scrimmage, but not quite back, and it's going to be third and roughly 13 with 7 minutes and 41 seconds here in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
East Columbus
I'll tell you in just a second.
leads 59-20. Burris is still in, and he's going to be in the gun. Still 2 wide right, 2 wide left, and number 44.
Yeah, they're going to send Austin Smith over here to make it trips right. Yeah.
Actually, we're going to go 3 right. And
the
ball's
snap.
loose. Let's find out. He gets past 1. He's got 3 coming. And, oh, my goodness. Number
Almost
15,
intercepted.
Jeremy Rouse, drops an interception. And it'll be 4th and about 14.
And it underscores, again, the importance of having a really consistent center on that shotgun snap.
So that leads me to believe that's not an offense they rely on very often. But I may be wrong.
It's been successful for them
It has
from
been.
time to time, and they've had some consistency with it.
Burris on 4 going to his left, and that one will be caught. Did he stay in? And it is.
Yep.
That'll be completed all the way down to the 19-yard line of East Columbus. So 4th down is converted, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 18 of East Columbus for South Stanley with 7 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. East Columbus leads 59-20. Burris stays in the gun, 2 off each side. Smith back to block, drops back, looks to his left, and number 24 cannot hang on.
Good job by Derek Young knocking the ball loose.
Through the hands of Sam Dennis. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line. I guess, no, that's a 17-yard line. So 2nd and 10, 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Burris looks to the sideline, gets the call, sends 2 wide right, 2 wide left, still using Smith as his blocker, looks it over, takes the snap, looks to the middle. Now he's going to flush right, and he's going to keep it, and he's going to be on his way to the goal, and he is brought down at the 2-yard line by...
It's like Isaiah Day on the tackle there.
And that's a tackle, touchdown saving tackle right there.
It's going to bring up 1st and goal.
So 7 minutes and 2 seconds left. 1st and goal on the 2-yard line. 59.
Yep.
2:20.
59-20, East Columbus in the lead.
East Bladen and Eastern Randolph were in overtime, tied at 27.
Wow.
Burst. It's loose, and I think East has got it.
Yep.
I'll be shocked if they don't.
Looks like Jeremy Rouse. No, looks like Burris was able to get it back.
He was able to get it back. I thought for sure East had that one. Didn't really change much at the line of scrimmage. Maybe to the 3. Still 2nd and goal. Burris will send 2 to his left and 2 to his right, leaving just Smith in the backfield, and he's going to drop back, and here comes East with big pressure, and they're going to bring him down.
Jalen Dumas with the sack.
Huge sack on the 15-yard line, loss of 12. And it's 3rd and goal now from the 15 instead of the 3 with 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. East is up 59-20 over South Stanley.
And South Stanley taking a timeout here to talk it over.
So 2-down territory, 15 yards separating them and 6. And they're going to discuss probably the 3rd and 4th down if they need it. So somebody's doing push-ups.
As East Columbus starts thinking about the rest of the fourth quarter, I guess we need to start thinking about Albemarle. And excited East Columbus will most likely, if everything holds true, be on the road Albemarle, the home of Kelly Pickler.
Did not know that.
Yeah, Kelly Pickler is from Albemarle. So,
30, did I give you the update on the Albemarle score? 31-0 Albemarle in fourth quarter.
So looks like a road trip for East Columbus, and exciting. The third round of the playoffs.
Never before has they been to the third round.
And Albemarle, of course, a very tough team, but East Columbus with just limitless potential. And I think Albemarle, watching tonight's game's got to be a little bit worried about the team that's going to be coming to play.
So Burr's going to, in the gun, 15 yards to go, is going to go to his left and underthrew number 23,
yeah.
Jordan Starnes. So that's 4th and goal from the 15. 5 minutes and 49 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. East is holding on to a 59-20 lead. South Stanley is on the 15-yard line of East, trying to get one more score before time starts to run itself out. So 2 wide right, 2 wide left. Smith blocks. Burris drops back over the middle, and that one is Jeremy Rouse is having a rough go. That's 2 he's dropped.
All right, I'm foreseeing some tip drills at Monday's practice.
Yeah, he is right there in the middle of the action, and great defense. He just cannot hang on to the ball. But I guess in that situation, you're better off to drop it. It's 4th down. You've not given yourself the interception, but you've shorted yourself yards. So at least we're going to go for that definition. 5 minutes and 46 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. East Columbus takes over on downs, and it is 59-20. And they will have the ball on the South Stanley 15. Ratliff stays in the gun. 2-back set. Hands that one off to number 4, and he's off to the races. There he goes. 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15-10, 5 touchdown Gators. Derek
85
Young.
yards.
Derek Young.
Oh, my. And that has now made it 65-20. East Columbus with 5 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter, and that was quick. So what a run. Lamas is going to make it 66. We may see 70s before this one's over. So he is getting set while Young's now getting a chance to catch his breath while he gets ready to hold the ball. The ball snapped. It's down. Lamas' kicked is up, and it is good. 66-20 here in the Swamp. East Columbus leads with 5 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here in the ball game. And we will see South Stanley take over for one more set, and at least one more set of offense.
So Derek Young, that was 85 yards. Is that correct, Franklin?
Yep, 85 yards.
85-yard touchdown.
I guess Young, his last 2 carries, has done about as opposite as you can do. He had a 1-yard carry for a touchdown on his previous carry and 85 yards that time. You know, he was a member of that 4x100 relay team that went to the state and thought they had won it and got disqualified, so it was unlikely that anybody was going to run him down from behind.
No, he was off. He
it
was
looked
gone.
like he turned it off about 15-yard line and just coasted in. And Derek Young, of course, played quarterback early on in the season, did a really good job there.
Shake that. Shake it. See if they go together better. No, don't shake it anymore. See if they go together. I've lost them completely now. That was it, that one.
And that's a short kick, and that one's going to go down. And, through the legs. Numbers 5 has come up with it, and that was Colby Morton.
Thank you.
The third-string quarterback came up with that one. And now if this was baseball season, that coach would not have been happy. I don't know if I've ever seen a football bounce like that.
21. South Mansfield 15.
So 5 minutes and 27 seconds.
Got a final from South Columbus. It's South Columbus 21, South Granville 15.
27.
So just waiting to see the results of the East Bladen, East Randolph game.
And they are in overtime, and we haven't gotten the final on that one yet, though.
Does high school overtime work like college overtime?
They start at the 10.
Oh, okay. So South Stanley's going to take over on their own 35-yard line, 1st and 10, 5 minutes and 27 seconds left. We've got number 6, Luke Burris, still in a quarterback. He's in the gun, and he has got now Justin Horton back with him to block. And number 6, Luke Burris, will go down for a sack.
Looks like that was Kaishim Robinson on the sack.
And that's a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd and 14 from the 31-yard line of South Stanley. So we're down to just about 5 minutes left here in the game. And we will wait on the play. Clock is running, still under 5 minutes. Here comes the ball. Burris is back. Horton beside him. 2 split wide right, 2 split wide left. Waits on the snap. Drops back to throw, looks to his left, and that'll be caught by number 9, Austin Smith, and he will go out of bounds at the 40.
Matt Jenkins knocked him out of bounds there after a gain of right at 5 yards.
Ball, guess it's going to be close. Well, I don't. It's right in the middle of the 39 and 40, so we will call this one 2nd and 5. Or third. No, we're 3rd and.
We'll say 6.
3rd and 6. I like that.
Yeah.
4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here. South Stanley has the ball, trailing 66-20. Luke Burris is in at quarterback, in the gun, 2 wide right, 2 wide left. Takes the snap, and he looks, and he's going to be covered up and brought down for a sack on the 31-yard line.
Yeah, number 59 there, Josh Patrick, was the first one, but he had a lot of help, and I think that's something we've seen all night. Rouse was in the backfield, and also Manuel Figueroa. So I think the penetration by East Columbus's defense has been part of the story tonight.
And you do hear some different names in that front wall for the Gators, so they have substituted. Still, though, they're kind of limited in who they can substitute in the backfield.
So we're looking at 4th and 15.
And we've got trips right, split left, and looks like Burris is dialing up another pass, throws it deep. He's got a man open, but he's covered, and it looks like it's going to be intercepted.
I think it's intercepted.
That's Mac Jenkins with the interception.
And Jenkins will get the ball back for East Columbus, and they will take over on their own 30.
East Bladen 33. Easton Randolph 27.
We were waiting on the score.
East Bladen over East Randolph 33-27. So South Columbus traveling to East Bladen next week for the 3rd round of the playoffs.
All right, so the ball will be spotted on the 32-yard line of East Columbus. They have it. 3 minutes and 35 seconds remain here in the 4th quarter. They're up 66-20. Ratliff still in a quarterback, still in the 2-gun, 2-back set. And that one's going to be handed off to number 20, Britton Spalding, and he's going to be brought down about the line of scrimmage. And we're looking at 2nd and 10 as the clock runs, and we make our way to 3 minutes remaining. So we're getting, I think, about to the point it's safe to say that 7 days from now the Gators will head to Albemarle for round 3. So we're looking at the gun. We're looking at Ratliff getting the play. 2-back set. 1 split wide to the left.
And, of course, the Gators working the clock here, waiting to the last possible minute to snap the football.
And that'll be handed off, and that one goes up the middle and still on his feet all the way to the 45-yard line. Get you a number here.
Nice run there by
22.
Jalen. Check that. It was Britton Spalding.
So Britton Spalding on that one, and that one will move.
Check that. I'm sorry, that was Jalen Dumas on the carry there.
So 1st down and 10. Ratliff is looking over to get the play from the sideline, using up all the time that he can.
We're down to 2:22 now. So wrapping this one up, another Gator victory.
Start to think about Albemarle. And that one's the number 20, Britton Spalding, and he will be brought down in the backfield. So he's going to lose. He's going to lose 2 on the play. And it is now down under 2 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. East Columbus holds on to a 66-20 lead. And that'll bring up second and at least 12. So Ratliff will use up as much time as he looks toward the sideline, get the play. Still has 2 back sets, still splitting 1 left. Waiting till the clock runs down as far as it can before he takes the snap. Clock still ticking down to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now he's ready. He looks to the line, calls for the snap, and that one's going to be handed off to number 22, I think. I think Jalen Dumas got that one.
That was Dumas on the carry.
And that's getting to about maybe one more play, and we can run this one out. So the ball is on the 44-yard line of East Columbus. They have it. We are down to 1 minute left. There's a score of 66-20. East Columbus has it, and they're just running out the time here until they can put this one in the record book. Is East Columbus, for the first time in school history, is fixing to make it to the 3rd round of the state playoffs, and they will be on the road at Albemarle next Friday night at 7:30. So Ratliff looks. The clock's down to 38. He's going to have to take the snap. Calls for it. Here it comes. It's handed off up the middle, and that one goes to, I think, Dumas again. And he takes it over the 50 into South Stanley territory, and that should be enough to end this one. So 20 seconds. We're getting ready to tick it off. Down to 15. Here comes East Columbus over to the sideline. 10 seconds, and the time will expire as the Gatorade baths are fixing to take place. That may be frozen by the time that one comes out of the cooler.
And there it goes.
Woo, that's cold. I can only imagine. Oh. So
that's one of those baths you don't mind no matter how cold it is. A great job by East Columbus and the coaching staff and the players. And I also want to mention about South Stanley, too. You know, of course, a disappointing season, the way that or disappointing end to the season, but a lot of success and a lot of young men there on both sides of the football. You know, everyone should be proud of the way they played tonight. It was a clean game, a lot of mutual respect, and so hats off to both teams. But East Columbus on to the 3rd round of the playoffs with Albemarle waiting for them next week.
yeah, it's those boys have to be pumped up, and they've got a lot of work cut out for them. Albemarle's undefeated. Albemarle's playing at home. Albemarle scored 30-some points tonight. So I mean, it's the biggest test that they've had in the playoffs, and not taking anything away from round 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they play 2 good teams, but when you go up against an undefeated whose name is synonymous with state playoffs and state championships, it's a little bit different.
And I guess the only question left to answer for East Columbus is how good can this team be?
Right.
And this team, I'm completely convinced this team could beat Albemarle, and if they play the way they're capable of playing, there's no doubt in my mind. Just an excellent group of young men, and very well coached, I will add. We've seen it, basically game in and game out, how well coached they've been, how disciplined they are, and hey, like we've said before, sky's the limit. And I guess we'll get to see next week. I do believe it's going to be a very good game. It should be a very close game, should be a very competitive game, and be excited to see how well the Gators do. And maybe they'll come out on top, certainly if they play the way they're capable of playing. So just going around the horn here, Franklin, I think you're still with us, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still down here. I'm trying to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and take the square root of some things.
We'll try not to say any numbers out loud. But for tonight, Rod, I'll start with you. And Rod, I just want to say, on behalf of myself and, of course, Aaron Yates and everyone at CCCA, thanks for what has been a great season, our inaugural season of high school football here on the radio and on the Internet. So you've done a great job. And it's been a pleasure calling with you, so I just want to say that before things get crazy. And we do plan, we are going to investigate. We've never gone on the road, but we're going to do our best to get to Albemarle next week to bring you guys the game. But speaking about this game tonight, who's a player that sticks out in your mind as far as their play tonight?
Manning. Manning is the first one that pops. He ran the big touchdowns. He got it going. And just like last week, I mean, you're multiple people, but Manning has to be the first person that comes to your mind.
Yep, I agree. Those big plays early really set the tone, and I think really took some of the wind out of the sails of the South Stanley football team. So I'm going to have to go with Manning too, although I will say I'd like to give definitely a runner-up or a nomination here to the entire defense of East Columbus, because to me the tone was set by the way the defense played, especially in the first quarter with those early stops on 3rd and 4th down. Those were key to setting the tone of the game, and I think it put the offense in excellent position on several occasions. So East Columbus on defense tonight played, I thought, extremely well, especially in the first half. Now I think the second half, the spread offense out of the shotgun gave them a little bit of trouble. They did adapt and had a little more success against it towards the end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth. But defense played well, but Manning really shone tonight.
And I think in that we've got to throw a really, really high honor and mention out to Ricky Ratliff, because it was the fakes that he ran that allowed, they never knew if McClure was coming, if he was keeping it, if Manning was coming, and that allowed Manning to, by the time they realized that Manning was gone, and you're not going to catch, he's fast.
Yeah, I agree, and I thought the counter tonight worked extremely well. Again, with the focus on Nick McClure, and who's not going to look at the tapes and focus on Nick McClure?
Right.
Of course, you think, okay, I got to stop him. And even though Nick McClure had a few runs tonight, his biggest role tonight was maybe the role he played in the previous games, and that allowed for Taryn Manning. The focus was on McClure. It allowed Manning, especially out of the counter, to have a lot of success. So. Franklin, you have someone you want to throw out as unmentionable?
Yeah, of course, Manning, showed up very well offensively, and I think the Gators had to have that because it appeared that South Stanley did come into the ballgame focusing on stopping McClure, and when Manning had that early success, it just opened things up for the entire offense. Manning had 12 carries for 206 yards and 4 touchdowns tonight. McClure still ended up with good numbers. He carried the ball 11 times for 94 yards and had 2 touchdowns, had 74 yards in the second half. And, Kelly, I think you made a great point talking about the defense. They made South Stanley totally a one-dimensional football team. In high school football, sacks are counted against your rushing yardage, so that's going to skew these numbers a little bit. But and again, I've got to count, if you don't mind me going 12 and 21, 22, 29, 30 rushes for South Stanley for minus 50 yards in this ball game.
Wow.
That's
and how many sacks?
Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell because I'm not actually able to keep up with them exactly, but I'm looking at 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks. So there are actually 23 rushes and then 7 sacks. It takes away from that. But when you can make a team, one-dimensional that's got has 2 rushers that combine for over 2,500 yards, you've got an excellent chance of winning.
Right, and the East Columbus defense took them entirely out of their game plan, and really, I think they were just improvising, trying to do anything against the defense that would work.
We do have a final from Albemarle. The final up there was Albemarle 38, Union Academy 0. So that's going to be some kind of matchup. Albemarle, of course, lots of tradition. East Columbus with no tradition, but I think these East Columbus players really believe that they've got an opportunity to go all the way. And I haven't seen anything tonight that makes me differ from that opinion.
I think throughout the season they've made believers out of us. We've seen a team of remarkable speed and remarkable big play ability. And it's in their big play ability is really such I've never seen anything like it in the years that I've coached and the years that I played. And it'll be interesting to see how they match up against Albemarle, especially with their offense. I'm not real sure what offense that Albemarle runs, but I think what we've seen tonight is that the East Columbus defense has the potential to stop any team and any offense.
Guys, I want to congratulate y'all on an outstanding season. You've been a big asset to football in Columbus County, and especially down here in the eastern part of the county, giving this team a lot of good coverage that it certainly has deserved with the season that it's had this year. And I know the folks down here are very appreciative of the job that you've done. And I just, again, like to thank you for allowing me to jump in here with you tonight and make a few comments from time to time.
Hey, we appreciate you. You really added another dimension to what we did tonight and really made it, I think, a special broadcast. So we thank you, Franklin, and we thank you and Mark also for allowing us to call on you and steal your ideas. And we appreciate. Seems like every time we came up here to East Columbus, you had the game kind of laid out for us in terms of the rosters and things to look for and discussion points. So we really appreciate that. And
well, see, Kelly, I know that you really don't ever have anything to do, so I just thought I would help you keep it that way because there's not a whole lot to what you do in your job. And folks, I'm being very facetious there because if you're talking about someone with their plate full with Columbus County Schools, Kelly Jones the man, and I call on him for a lot of things, and he's always willing to help me. So whatever little bit I can do to pay him back for that, I'm certainly glad to.
But we do appreciate it, and we've learned a lot, and I think our students have learned a lot from with your assistance, what we've been able to do here. So we're excited, and we're going to find some way to make it to Albemarle next week.
Road trip.
And after that, it's on to basketball season. So there's a lot more to come. And again, thank you, Franklin. And please give Mark our regards to and the assistance he gave us.
Hey,
So,
can I tell you one thing I'm seeing here on the internet that's we're going to hear a lot about?
what's that?
And I'm not sure where Burns is, but a Hickory player has been ejected from a playoff game tonight for punching the Burns head coach on the sideline after a play, and apparently that's happened within the last 3 to 4 minutes. So that's something that people can kind of stay on the lookout for. So a black eye, and I don't mean that punny, but certainly a black eye for the football team in Hickory, if that is true.
That's true.
And we've been very fortunate, and I think the way that East Columbus and all of our Columbus County teams have conducted themselves, is indicative of a lot of class and, of course, the example set by our coaches. So, that's unfortunate here because, that'll be the focus regardless of what happens in the game. That'll be what everyone talks about, and, you hate that. You hate to see that. Okay, folks. Well, it's time for us to sign off. We'll be getting back to our interviews and music at WZCO 89.9. And for Franklin Davis and for Rod Likens, I'm Kelly Jones. And us at Columbus County Schools really appreciate you tuning in. And we will see you, or hopefully you'll at least hear us, next week from Albemarle, 7:30, as the East Columbus Gators take on the Albemarle football team in the third round of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association playoffs. So, gentlemen, it's been a blast. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.